Hello everyone, without any hesitation, we are getting right into this set between Freeflow and Seaburst with me on Wail by SAC, 11 round 1, and interesting moves right off the bat from Freeflow here time, with that S10 and foil squeezer.
I'm kind of a fan of the foil squeezer, right? Like, most of the time I normally see the V-squeezer. Like, Zuka is such a good option, and then you also have that wall, but foil is so strong, and you can see JJ, like, popping off with this foil, getting this double on right, and just pressuring out anyone from Seaburst from getting back into mid, even throwing up that screen to stop them, stop their push from going out just a little bit longer.
Right, and I'm also very curious to see this double midline and junior comp coming out from Seaburst. Discussions with some friends have led me to understand that junior is becoming increasingly popular in the Japanese scene in midline comp. So I'm very curious to see what Seaburst can do with that here, but Park's doing such a fantastic job of locking down that left side and preventing anyone from dropping into right and peeking into that zone. For now, I do think Freeflow is going to hold this.
Yeah, it looks like they're probably going to be able to. You can see, like, Seaburst doesn't have any specials ready, and it's really just skirmish after skirmish in mid. Like, strikes are going to come out now. They're probably going to cap that zone, but as I say that, they do cap zone half bubble, so I mean, you can see they're already setting up to try and lock Freeflow out. Like, they're starting to fall one after another. As you can see, Cakes here is just trying to stop their push from going any further.
Right, and finally, like you mentioned, Seaburst able to cap and able to start getting some points down, but without, like, very much hesitation. Cakes there, gets a very nice double up on that left side in order to neutralize and recap that zone. So applying a little bit of a penalty on Seaburst, it does seem like they're able to break back in, right? But whether or not Seaburst is going to be able to sustain this here, they are going to have to get picks, not trades. The Slosher goes down on the right, followed by the Stamper. So this is, without a doubt, going right on back to Freeflow, and very cleanly.
Right? Freeflow is honestly doing a great job. Like, even, like, this Zuka plus 10 shield, like, just in the Seaburst plat, like, it's going to be really hard for them to move in. They may get a great pick on JJ, but Parks here is already just waiting in the zone for them to drop. Like, they have bubble ready, but if they can't get that bubble in a good position, it's not going to do them much good.
And Freeflow about to clear this penalty, right? Parks doing, once again, just such a fantastic job at keeping paint down, but Freeflow goes 2 down. Seaburst has those specials. It's just JJ there, and now we see the 10th player in the zone going to be able to try and keep this neutral, but Seaburst very quickly gaining their way into the zone and going to be able to force a cap here with 2.5 minutes remaining, buying themselves some precious time by applying that penalty.
You can really see how the junior shines in these kinds of engagements. They pop the bubble on zone and just immediately, with the high output of paint, capped it, right? And even though now they're no longer in zone and Freeflow is back in advantage, that penalty is nothing to sneeze at.
Right, and Freeflow almost about to clear that once again, right? They have 20 ticks remaining. They do lose their squeezer, JJ. 2 members of Seabay going to be pushing in the right side. We see Luna on that top right, applying such generous pressure. 2 members down on Freeflow, and it's just the tent on top right. Epic knows exactly where they are, and genuinely you would think that that normally would go towards the Stamper to beat the ledge, but man, this 10th player cleans that up. I'm, respectfully, I'm not reading that name on stream.
Radio here actually pops their Zuka, does get a pick, I think. And now Freeflow is now back in the zone, pushing Seaburst back into their plat. Strikes are up on the side of Seaburst though, and they're ready for their push to come back in. Like, strikes come out, Cooler now comes out. Oh, but their Junior does go down, so they're going to have a hard time getting control of this zone as Freeflow penalty is about to be over.
Right, 10 ticks remaining and about 40 seconds. Now is ride or die here for Seaburst. They get the pick on. Freeflow gets the pick on Epic up in there and recaps that zone. I'm sorry. and for game 1 does go right on to Freeflow.
That was actually, like, I thought that was really clean, right? Seaburst had amazing pushes back into mid, like the way they coordinated their strikes and they popped bubble down on that zone, and that junior just immediately knew how much pressure that they put on that zone. Like, but then every time they got into a good position, Freeflow would then turn around and say, oh, no, you don't. Bring out their Zuka, bring out their screen, and all of a sudden Seaburst is back in their plat, back on that back foot.
Right, and I am taking the moment to tell them to change that IGN. So, my dignity as a commentator will
Oh,
not let
dear.
me read that.
Understandable. Well, like now we're gonna take a look at both Freeflow and Seaburst here. Do you know what the next map is?
Yeah, we would be looking right on at Rainmaker Humpback. Here we go. Looking forward towards that. A very volatile map mode, and I do think it's something that the Tent and the Squeezer on the side of Freeflow are going to be playing very well on. Right, that screen around the elbow doesn't just work linearly, but also works as a way to cross section the street area.
It's actually like for Rainmaker Humpback, right? You know, you see a lot of like very strong weapons on that initial pop, but you can like Junior even has its utility here, right? Because if you have a little bit of special power up on that bubble, immediately, right, you just lock out that entire elbow. You have double bomb for that shield. You have great paint as long as your midliners and your backliner can defend you. So really, I can see Seaburst having a good shot here to at least take it to checkpoint, right? If not, like, get it all the way through. Like, a good bubble, a good strike, like, they have everything it takes. But Freeflow, on the other hand, is just, they have a really strong comp here, right? They have a heavy spot lane that plays really far forward that's basically a midliner here, just putting so much pressure to force all the members of Seaburst back. Not only that, the screen comes out, like, the tent, all of it, it's just, I can see this knocking out, too.
I, for the sake of entertaining gameplay, I hope that we don't see a knockout.
Just for you.
But just for me.
It is Rainmaker, and it looks like we're going to be going to the game in just a second here. But Rainmaker, you don't normally see knockouts, right?
No. On this map, yes, you do, I feel. But that it's on other Rainmaker maps, no. But like you mentioned, like I really feel like the Squeezer and the Tent are really going to enable that, right? However, the Toxic Mist coming out from Seaburst on that Stamper Nouveau are going to do such a great job locking down that elbow area. In addition to the Sploosh, very infamous rat coming out from Stargaze.
Yeah, this Sploosh, right? It's like, Sploosh is probably Humpback's, like, it's their stomping ground, you know? Like, and even though they get picked off early, like, their job is really to just run in and make as much space and take as much things they need to, you know? Like, they have this hammer, like, even though Kraken comes out on the side of Freeflow, oh, and they get picked! So now this Kraken is already rushing forward, taking a Rainmaker trail for Cakes here, as, like, members of Seaburst are picking off Freeflow one after another, stopping their push in this elbow.
And here we go with this cooler, right? And denying that before the Rainmaker does manage to swing that elbow is excellent for Seaburst. We see the stamp gets popped, the crab gets popped as well. Now is Seaburst's opportunity to start trying to take control of mid, but there's only one player actually contesting that at this moment. Star drops into that into the zone area, does get the pop on the Rainmaker, and the Tent is down for Freeflow. But right now, it's just a scrap for mid. Great pick from Serena, but going to be shut down by JJ. So there's a lot of smoke here in mid, but there's not a lot of fire. There's not a lot of the Rainmaker being grabbed until just now. Here we go, time.
The Pencil now holding this Rainmaker, running forward, like members of Freeflow are both going down, but they're getting this checkpoint, moving up on it, and though members of Seaburst are starting to go down, it's 2v2 here, 3v3 as 3v1 as Stara actually getting that pick, has Hammer with this Tent, like they're just gonna go for that pop here, and they barely die on that pop, so now it's just epic here with 3 members of Freeflow and a Kraken. They don't even make it out, as now Stara here is around this Rainmaker just hoping to get a pick, and unfortunately goes down, and that is Seaburst pushed over.
And now we're even for checks, right, between these two teams. With a half of this game left, neither team has really managed to get decent control of the opposing team's elbow. We see that Seaburst is trying to work their way back into mid. We see Serena go in, feed a little bit, does get taken down by Cakes. Cakes gets 2, gets 3, can they get the quad? They're going to chase in, but be cut off by that Sploosh. So Seaburst, for now, going to maintain a little bit of control.
That was an incredible play by Cakes. Like, really, Freeflow, all they really need to do, like, this is not a stable lead, right? So what they need to do is they need to take out members of Seaburst and, like, just get that push going. We have the Kraken here. We have this Rainmaker picked up. We have JJ here, but unfortunately, Seaburst popped their own Kraken, taking out that Rainmaker, and now it's really just Parks in a crazy 1v1. Ends up getting that Kraken, but goes down, and now Stara is just in mid, contesting as much as they can. Pops that hammer and unfortunately goes down.
Yeah, a classic stamp moment there, right? You either get a triple or you don't make it 2 steps forward. Seaburst going to be taking their time here, getting that pop. There's just that 10th on the left side and 2 members of Freeflow on that right side, but they know they need to start working their way over there. Now we're talking about a 1-3 split, right? But there's only one direction that Seaburst really can push, and this Zuka is just going to do such a great job at shutting down the Rainmaker's rotation across mid. Really good play and really great split here from Freeflow.
Right? Like, now what Seaburst really wants to do is get that Rainmaker past, like, through that checkpoint. All they need to do is just take it a few steps more. Like, there is 1 minute left in this game, and they need to be focusing on building specials and holding control of the areas they have. Like, Freeflow just went 2 players down. They're not in mid anymore. This is starting to look great for Seaburst as they pick up that Rainmaker, as their members start going down, unfortunately. Like, Parks has this Kraken in the back. Like, we might see this push die early, or they might take it all the way and get lead.
Right, I'm seeing a delayed 2 down from Seaburst as Freeflow starts circling in like a den of snakes around the Rainmaker, going to shut that down, gradually pinning from all sides. The longer you're still with the Rainmaker, the more opportunity that the opponent has to encircle you, and that's exactly what Freeflow did there. Now, with 20 seconds left in the game, Freeflow has 2 options. They can either try and push, or they can try and shark this out and prevent themselves from losing any sort of advantage state, and that's exactly what we see JJ doing here. Sharking out the Rainmaker, so there are just 2 members of Seaburst left that not only have to pop, but they also have to grab. Epic does, but not before the timer comes out to an end, and that is game 2, and with it the set going to Freeflow.
That, I thought Seaburst was going to grab that Rainmaker before the time ran out. It was so unfortunate, right? Like, you could see just how far they were trying to push, but JJ just with that insane shark getting that Rainmaker, that was like really cool.
It was an awesome shark coming out from JJ. Yeah, and unfortunate for Seaburst that they were denied that overtime. Epic did manage to grab the Rainmaker, but not in time.
Right, so that means that this set is now over, so it looks like we're going to be heading over to another set after a quick break.
Yeah, and we'll be on the other side of the bracket. We are going to be looking at Stargaze versus the winner of the set between Memento Mori, and you're going to pay your penance now. We'll be right back.
Getting that clam in, and like it's imminent, like here they come, right in it goes, but I don't know if they have the economy to keep it up, especially with their members starting to go down. It does look like you're going to pay your penance now. Has stopped Stargaze's push. Unfortunately, though, they do get another ball, so this is actually not looking so bad for them. Like, all of them are coolered up. Like, even though their members are going down, you have to remember, when a player dies with cooler, you have to kill them twice in order to get value out of it. Actually, as I say that, Bounce here, getting their teammates to get that ball again, getting back Penance's plat, just trying to get back into that elbow, which is the most annoying spot for them. Unfortunately, though, walks straight into a trap, that 3v1, but Stargaze does have 2 balls up, and they're both in a 3v3, so it's really could go either way here, Scout.
Right, however, if you look at what actually has been going on, we've seen Stargaze, again in the orange, has been maintaining great control of Penance's plat. consistently been locking down and holding that. So even though the score right now is not in their favor, if you look at how territory has been possessed over the course of the game, it has been in favor of Stargaze up until right now. We see Pennant starting to work their way up towards that plat, and they are going to be able to force this Pity Clam to go down. Azuka comes out, gets the pick on Stargaze's pseudo anchor. They are cooled, so even though this is a 2v1 situation, this does look very nice for Pennant.
Yeah, like the triple with Azuka actually, or the double with Azuka is incredible for Penance here, as they're going to be able now to hold more of mid than they did before. Unfortunately though, they do lose Stargaze's plat as they end up having to retreat. Like, this kind of situation, it's actually not the worst for them here. Like, essentially they have a shark on Stargaze's plat. They have the opportunity to be able to go in. They have multiple balls, but unfortunately goes down, and Stargaze ends up actually getting 2 picks, so they're able to move forward and get a lot of space off this.
And here goes another dunk for Stargaze. Finally, after 4 minutes, getting some additional points on the board. But they are down their front line. They are down acing. Rose did dunk that power clam, but going to be unable to follow up as they lose their shot here. So starting to have to back, knowing that if Penance does get that power clam in, and then the second power clam in, without a shadow of a doubt, Penance pulls lead here, and Stargaze ends up on their back foot. 2 down for Stargaze is looking very good for Penance right here.
Nicholas has actually been like popping off this game, getting pick after pick that's crucial for their teammates. Unfortunately though, members of Penance do go down to Stargaze as they're going to lose both of their balls. There's only 30 seconds left in this game, so they're going to need to work fast to get a clam economy up alongside their Pity. Unfortunately though, Stargaze is so fast to pull up and take as much space as they can, so this isn't looking very good for Penance right now.
Look just how many clams Stargaze does have. They have that power clam. They did shuffle those clams around in order to form, and now they have the Zuka to potentially get the pick during overtime, but it goes down. It's just Oil left on Penance, striking their way forward, knowing that they have to go now. About 10 seconds left in this overtime push as Bounce uses that Kraken in order to be able to get that pick.
Unfortunately, for Penance, they get wiped out by Stargaze in the last moment, and that is game 1 to Stargaze with probably one of the most, the smallest leads I've ever seen on a Barnacle Clams game.
Right, yeah, there were dunks and then no sustains, like at any point in that game. Both Stargaze's 30-point lead was earned by dunking 2 power clams over the course of 5 minutes.
Right? Like, literally, what they did was, like, I can't even explain it. It's like they just moved in, they got their clams, and then Penance was able to just go in, especially Nicholas, right? Just going in and stopping these pushes alongside the other members. It's just... But Stargaze was the team that ended up being able to get those balls in, and unfortunately, because Penance was unable to get not even a single point on the board, there wasn't really a lot they could do from there.
Right, and if you look at Stargaze's comp, it really is this ratty, skirmishy, you don't know where we're gonna be at any given moment type of comp, right? With between the Luna and the Tri-Slosher functioning as their cooler. And the 96 Deco being such a mobile anchor. Wherever that 96 Deco is, like, it can throw down a wall, it can hold against a pencil. If it needs to rotate, it can pop that Kraken and the pencil can't paint it on its way out and prevent it from rotating out. So I just think Stargaze, even though we're looking at Penance as having a triple shooter, short range shooter comp, at the end, when it comes to mobility, that the comp advantage would go to Stargaze.
Right? And speaking of mobility, right, and being able to move around the map, Robo Zones is kind of the map where you see a lot of people flanking through the wings of the map for going around the entire thing to, like, just take you by surprise and take back that zone. I can definitely see a lot of, like, really fun plays because Bounce is actually really good on this 96. You could see last game just taking control of the areas that they knew they had to get. But on the other hand, Penance is really good at adapting. So once anything happens at one point, like immediately, right, you'll be able to see Penance be able to adapt and maybe even overcome in this game.
Ooh, and we do have a DC on the side of Penance. So a little bit of a sneak peek at the comp that a Stargaze is going to be bringing out. We do see that they bring out that custom Explosher. Rose going to be playing that. She does normally play the Tri-Slosher Nouveau, but that's going to allow Luck there to switch back to Zap, which is a weapon that they have historically been known for.
I'm actually a really big fan of the custom X-Washer. Like, you can play really aggressively while also just having that insane turf output that the normal X-Washer has. Like, especially with Splashdown, right? Because if you just run into zone, you can single-handedly either cap it or at least dispute it. And all of your teammates will be able to follow up as long as you get into a good position, right? Nobody can really approach you.
Right, and it's just we laugh about it as Splatoon 2 players, where Splashdown was kind of the kit killer back in the day, but realistically, you can cancel that Splashdown. If you are chipped enough, you are going to go down to the two fists that make the Splashdown here in Splatoon 3, the triple Splashdown. Right? So sometimes even trading against something like that, it just makes Splashdown so uncontestable in some situations on zones.
It's really unfair. Like, I think the only time I've ever seen, right, triple splashdown get completely canceled is when a splashdown and a reef slider are popped on zone at the same time, and that reef slider gets
that.
all of them. Yeah, and it's really funny to watch actually, because you could see reef slider is definitely a cheese special, right? You literally can just cap zone in a single thing, but when you have a splashdown, it's just like it takes them by surprise almost every single time. But most of the time, when you use triple splashdown, you are at the very least trading out.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. And in the situations where you need to be alive in order to paint the zone in a desperate situation, and you're painting, you're doing your business, and then the opponent runs in and pops splashdown, it's like, whoops, should have been watching the HUD better.
Right? Especially like, oh my god. And the worst part is sometimes you're fighting an end parries and they just immediately get their splashdown. You can't even control it. It's over for you. However, Expo is the kind of weapon that you want to be holding on to your special until a key moment, especially because splashdown, you can only do a lot with it as long as you get into a good spot to use it.
Yeah, and here we are going to be going in. We did see that they did gentlemen's to a potential comp change, so that custom expo, thankfully does end up coming back out, and we do again see the Zap as Stargaze's cooler option. That's going to give them faster coolers than they had going previously on Clam Blitz, Barnacle, and Dime, and also another very significant comp change from You're Going to Pay Your Penance now, switching to that double midline comp, but sticking with that pencil though as their anchor.
I love that acing is just moving around that left side of the field and immediately going for anybody who is unwise enough to step on that elbow. Unfortunately for Stargaze, Penance has that early Zuka come out and takes out a lot of members of Stargaze from that elbow and nets them an early cap of that zone. So now they get all the way to 70 ticks, and looks like Stargaze does have specials online, but they use the splashdown on this elbow and can't even get it back as Kiki Prime gets those strikes in. This is heading into lockout territory, I feel like, Scam.
Yeah, and that was a great pick on Stargaze's Zap, right? We talk about how it's cooler and how important it is in order to maintain control. Getting this 3 down again on Stargaze, this does look like it could potentially be a KO. It's now Stargaze's last opportunity to start working their way into the zone, and they don't have a lot to cope with it. We see that Zipcaster coming out as soon as Acing has it. Rose working their way, knowing that she has that splashdown that they need in order to contest this zone. 5 ticks remaining, 3, 2, 1, and the splashdown does not come out in time in order to neutralize that zone. Barely a couple seconds too late, so that ties up our set 1-1.
That was so fast. Like you could see the value, right, of farming specials at the start of the game, especially like just knocking all the members of Stargaze out of that elbow was crucial, and they could never get it back because Penance was always on top of their special management, saying, "Oh hey, you have Zipcaster. Oh hey, you have X-Blosher. So you have Splashdown." And unfortunately, like I have Ink Strike. What are you gonna do about it? Like, I have Zuka. Yeah, you're gonna challenge me? Like, yes, they can get a Kraken in there, but if the Kraken can't get any picks, right, it's really just Penance's time to shine.
Right, and what a complete reversal of the previous game. That was a utter stall fest, no points scored, in a sustaining way for objective for either team compared to, oh wow, we suddenly bring out two mid lines and you're coping. Really showing the shift into the meta, right? We still did see, you know, that Luna coming out. We still saw a Zap, which is a short range shooter. We still had that shot from Stargaze. So really turning the range advantage on its head, right? Those ratty weapons, they do play well into the triple short line comp that Penance was running, but they really struggle into the double midline comps that are dominating the meta currently.
Yeah, this isn't really super shocking because, again, range is really trumps all. Like, if you are, like, I know because I play a shot weapon, but essentially you can't really dodge out of all of those shots. And I'm looking forward to actually seeing what Penance brings to the table for this match and how Stargaze is going to adapt.
Right, and whether or not they stick with that double midline, that was just so devastating for them. We do see Bounce shifting back to the 96 deco. I think that's an excellent option for maintaining your control of your own elbow here, particularly on Scorch zones with that wall, with that Kraken being a way to brute force your own elbow on retake. And then conversely, on the other side of Penance, they are sticking with that double midline comp that did work for them the last game. So I want to see how Stargaze's rattier comp here adapts to this double midline comp.
Right, you could see Penance, like, at the start, that early Zuka that they farmed this time didn't get that same value that they really wanted it to get. So Stargaze is now going to start popping special, taking advantage of the space that they're being given in mid. Now two don't go down on the side of Penance, so their push begins now. Those strikes will come out to try and stop them from getting that checkpoint, but it feels inevitable here as the strikes are unable to get a pick on that Rainmaker, and out comes this hammer.
Yeah, the Slosher on that snipe doing such a wonderful job at denying the Rainmaker and then getting a secondary pick on the 96 Deco. Kiki Prime successfully using this opportunity to maintain control of mid and start earning that back, right? Very phenomenal cleanup of their own elbow from this Slosher player. And keep in mind, Stargaze did not break that checkpoint, so now they're all going to be working their way out of spawn at around the same time. Stargaze very quickly going to find themselves on that back foot, thanks to that Slosher's very smart progression between that elbow, mid, and then that flank on that left side.
I really respect that this Slosher is really good at controlling their strikes and being able to open up opportunities for their teammates, right? You can see that even though they've already been pushed out of this elbow, they're great at knowing their range, knowing where they need to go. Like, they have strikes again, and they will strike again, let it be known, right? So Stargaze is going to get that Rainmaker and pick it back up, but hopefully they'll be able to get a push out of this one too.
Yeah, and keep in mind, 2 minutes of this game have passed. Neither team has managed to break a checkpoint here. It's a 3v2 situation with Stargaze having this Kraken, but are they going to make the same mistake as last time? Because that Slosher is looking towards that left side, and Rose is separated from the rest of her team, but it's just the Stamper left. Love galore on top right as Rose finally manages to break this first checkpoint. This is a breakthrough for Stargaze.
This is huge. Like, they get this pop. Acing is already, like, just trying to scare anybody off who's nearby. Gets a few extra points on the board. So now not only will Penance have to break that Rainmaker check, but they'll also have to push it forward just a little bit further.
Yeah, and so now... Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Now we see Penance working their way into mid. They are potentially here about to go check for check, but KM going to be able to get that pick 3v2 situation for Stargaze is they're going to need to get control back of their elbow, and an excellent crossfire here between Acing and Rose time.
Yeah, I can see the way that they're like moving around this field. Like they have Cooler up. They're forcing members of Penance to actually jump back to spawn. Like this could be another phenomenal push for them. You can see even Acing has Hammer ready. Unfortunately though, Rainmaker does get picked by this pencil, but this isn't going to stop Acing from popping that Hammer and hopefully getting more picks in mid. Oh, and that was a huge pick on that slosher. Unfortunately, though, Acing does go down. There's a minute 30 left in this game, and all Penance really wants to do is just break this checkpoint and maybe go a few steps further. Like, this Zuka comes out. They are forcing members of Stargaze back as far as they physically can. Unfortunately, just being completely denied this checkpoint. All of their members except the Stamper go down. It's really just them versus the world here as Stargaze now gets control of mid.
Right, and now they can start extending their lead. We have a minute left in this game with Rose diving that Rainmaker forward, getting it below that 60 mark. This is set point right here. Acing pops this stamp, is going to be able to inst that Rainmaker forward for a couple more points. 2v2 with KM going to try and get this pop here. Hayden on that pencil, going to have to back, somehow tanking that Zuka shot. Bro bought heavy shields today, time.
Right? Like, that Cooler, like, don't discount how much a defensive power has. Like, Penance now rushing back into mid, 30 seconds left in this game as Stargaze was 3 down. So Hayden is like, knows what their job is. They have to dunk it here on this checkpoint. And if they don't get it, and unfortunately they don't, it might be wraps.
Here we go. You're going to pay your penance now. Trying to skirmish around this checkpoint. We see Kiki going in, unfortunately going down, so there's no one left near that Rainmaker in order to be able to potentially grab. Stargaze taking that Rainmaker, dropping it on the far bottom right. It's going to be very difficult for Penance to not only get that pick, but also dunk it. Excellent maneuvering from Rose there as they take this contentious set 2-1.
That was so incredibly intense, Skep. Like, Stargaze's defense on their Rainmaker pushes, like, for the entire game, Penance couldn't even break that Rainmaker checkpoint, especially at the end there. It's just so impressive, I found, how oppressive their comp was, despite being so short-ranged.
Right, and it really just came down to the way that Rose and Acing were pairing together in order to take advantage of their relatively similar ranges and synergistic hit damage. It's just beautiful movement from the two of them that time and time again was able to isolate opponents, pick them off one by one before they moved on to the next one. You can really tell that there's strong communication on the side of Stargaze, but Penance absolutely did give them a run for their money. You can't forget how devastating that 100-0 push from Penance was on Splatzone's Robo Ramen. Without further ado, we will be taking a short break, get set up for our next set. We'll be right back very shortly. Hello, my name is Skeptilians, and I am back with my wonderful friend Time as we look forward to our set between Freeflow, infamous team, and Magnolia. I will say, Freeflow tonight, Time, are being quite the poopy heads. It's not skibbity of them.
It's not so skibbity, no. There's a lot of farting in the lobby here, and it's not very fun. It might be a little, like, big stink, even. We can see Freeflow we saw from our first round earlier. You could see, like, their coordination, like, the way that they held their sharks. Like, it was very good. On the other side, though, Magnolia is a very strong team that I've actually been following. Did you know they're actually flawless in Ludi right now?
Did not know that. What division did they get, Time?
Div 4, actually. So
wow.
It's actually really impressive, yeah.
That actually is quite huge for them. I'm proud of them. And I hope they beat the stinky Freeflow that has been such a pain in my rear tonight with their stupid immature fart jokes.
Well, let's head right into our first game on Mako Zones here.
Freeflow, I am your #1 fan, but right now I am rooting for your downfall stronger than I ever have. Magnolia is going to beat the poopy out of you.
Actually, something about Magnolia's comp that I very much like is I really like that they bring out the red pencil instead of the normal pencil, and they have a zap instead for that cooler generation, which is really strong. Dripsy actually getting a great early pick, and 2 goes down on the side of Freeflow. So now Magnolia is free to take a lot of space on mid and even get that initial that second cap of zone.
Let's go, Magnolia. Hit him where it hurts. Straight in the toilet. That crab does come out on that left second. They do get the pick on the stinky JJ. And start looking towards that right side.
Yeah, I mean, Freeflow coming out with the Zuka and getting 2 down on the side of Magnolia. They're really just trying to run through this zone, as unfortunately now members of Magnolia are all the way back into their plats. You can see Swish here farting it up on this right corner, like right elbow, I mean, moving in with their tent. It's going to make it all that much harder for Magnolia to push in, even with those strikes, even with that crab that's coming out now. Like, they might get control of this zone, but that Tentarella behind them is still going to give them trouble.
Yeah, and there we go. We see a team start getting the pick on Cake, so they're going to take Zap for Zap out of the equation. Freeflow going to be able to recap that zone, but they lose Swish in that freezer. JJ knows exactly where Teamster is, but not going to take the wise opportunity to not drop on that in order to be able to shut down the members of Magnolia that were opting to flank around Freeflow as they get ever closer to clearing that penalty.
We see Magnolia does have specials coming out. Here comes that crab, here comes that Zuka, and they have strikes online too as they force parts off of that left stack and get that cap of that zone. Now they're just going to use those specials to move that advantage forward, getting pick after pick in mid. Like, it's really a skirmish world here. So, yeah.
Yeah, and Brave going to be able to try and get Swish on this right side. Now there's another member of Freeflow up on that right stack. Poor Brave caught out here, but does manage to get the trade on parts before jumping out, knowing that they have that crab online. An absolutely invaluable tool for a retake here, but JJ, assuming a very aggressive position, going to start working in, trying to pick the members of Magnolia, and Freeflow extending their lead here. This is where things are going to start to get dangerous, even though we do see Magnolia has that ever useful strikes for the retake here.
I really admire the way that Freeflow is just taking advantage of this map geometry. Like, constantly they are flanking, they are moving around the left and right sides of this map. Like, you can see even now, right, the strikes may have come out on zone, but they weren't able to get cakes off of that zone with that zap. Unfortunately, now Magnolia has to feed in as there's 5 ticks left on that zone. That Zuka comes out and Freeflow gets a wipeout as they take that first game.
Can we call them silent but deadly time? Or were they a little too loud?
Well, that is really what happens, right? Like, the pivotal turning point of this game was essentially, right, this, them getting flanked, and even though they could get back into mid, they still had to deal with Magnolia had to deal with a flanking Zuka, essentially, and their attention got divided so much so that they went back to their plat, and because all of that area was already painted, it let players like JJ just come up and take advantage of that stagger.
And look at them wafting the smell away with their...
Oh my god. With that, those emotes, right?
I'm so mad. I'm laughing about it, but I'm so mad. I begged them to alias that name to Swish. I said, how can you have us put that on air? Right?
No,
like,
and then they added another fart to it. Like,
and then they added a second fart to their IGN. And I'm laughing about it, but Freeflow, I'm so mad at you right now.
Yeah.
I just can't do anything about it.
Well, speaking of, right, the game that's going on, we are going to go to Crableg Capital Clam Blitz, right? And this is like one of those maps where you can definitely see, right, a pencil versus Splatling kind of stay on top left for the entire game until it's time to make a push. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if I see like a heavy deco come out.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, from Parks, the heavy deco would be awesome, but first, I do think they need to take a gas.
They need to take a gas break. Yeah.
And get that IGN off of my screen!
All right, but do you think they're actually leaving the PB to go do that?
I would hope so. They are
Oh.
not! We're hearing from our streamer! No! Oh, they're gonna
It's
hear about
very
this later.
unfortunate, but the stench will continue wafting out of the TV here. Just moving forward, right? Like no matter what happens, right? Members of Magnolia and Freeflow are going to be a little stinky for the next little while.
You know, but when you have a seafood boil, do you invite the smelly gamers? No, you kick them out of your house. And that's exactly what Magnolia is going to do here. We do see that Junior come out. That bubble is going to be a decent tool for denying that Zuka, but with that tent there, I question how much value that Junior is going to find, even though that bubble is an excellent tool to sustain a good push on the opponent class.
Right, you can see already Freeflow is just rushing that right elbow and moving all the way forward. Like JJ is at this basket with the wall in the perfect position as long as they can get that clam going. And that clam got into that basket almost right away as Magnolia is now being forced back further and further. You can see definitely here how Freeflow beat that third seed.
Yeah, and they managed to sustain this just a little bit longer. It is just the heavy edit parts with that crab up on that top left area. They do manage to get some additional clams, but they're not going to be able to dunk it. So that is a dead push here coming out for Freeflow. Dripsy trying to work their way in, playing those sides, and doing a good job of trying to help their teammate get back in the mid, but by the time they're all four up, there's not enough people standing in mid in order to contest. Parks does go down. They manage to get the pick on the zap as well. If Dripsy gets that pick, this is huge! That's a wipeout for Magnolia. Now is their golden opportunity to push.
And in that clam ghost skep, you can really see how they're just struggling into Freeflow's comp, but that's not going to stop them at all from getting those baskets and getting those points. And like Freeflow on those greets, like having such a hard time dealing with Dripsy, even though the push dies almost immediately after the clam gets put in, this isn't going to stop Magnolia, not by any means, as it's now a 3v3 in mid.
Yeah, that's clam for clam, or as Freeflow would say, 2 for 2.
Right? Definitely. I do want to mention, right, Magnolia's comp definitely struggles up against Freeflow's comp. Like, not only do they have a Tentabrella and a Headit to shred those bubbles down, but also, like, their comp is really short range, and they're really relying on their pencil to provide a ton of pressure that I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do for this game.
Right, and that Junior is really what's supposed to enable them to plant their feet in the ground here. Yes, the pencil provides those excellently safe jumps with those food cooler, which has become the primary function of that weapon in team comps. But that Junior, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, is being used more often in midline comps. So the 52, I mean, you could slap a 52 anywhere in any comp and that thing's gonna work. It is busted, and we see Brave getting that pick. Another splash wall coming out, knowing that JJ is up on that top right side. Brave going in for what could potentially be a well-timed flanks, but going to get called out by Cakes. Gets the pick on Cakes. Can they get Fort FA?
Can they get switched down? Unfortunately, goes down themselves. No switch does end up going down in that Zuka. They have this bubble now in Freeflow's court, so they're just throwing those clams in, getting more jumps. You can see TM4 is just trying to hold this basket open as Brave jumps in that pity. It's now 38-74, right? Like, their push might be dead here, or might not be, as you can see the pencil here getting more clams in through those grates. Down to 23, like, this is past LDE range at this point, Scout.
Yeah, more importantly, like, Freeflow's on their back foot here. I think we all looked at this set and expect Freeflow to walk away with it without much contention, but Magnolia's push is quite devastating. We see Swish up on this top right side, popping that Zuka, going to try and hold this angle, which is an incredibly important angle in order to push, but Freeflow goes 2 down. It is a 2v2 situation with the defending team still holding their own basket. Brave jumps back with that power clam ever so close goes to a Wail. This genuinely at this point in the game, it looks to me like Freeflow is going to be able to hold this as long as they play patient. 2 down though, 3 down. It's just Brave on that 52.
Now Brave is just trying to run for their life here as they end up holding on to this clam, giving Freeflow the perfect view of wherever they are. However, the junior on Magnolia just taking names, rushing in and getting picks in their court. It's just ahead it and down they go. So now Magnolia is cementing their lead as long as they stop Freeflow from getting another push, right? It's basically curtains for them.
Right, keep bombs out, hold your space, don't overextend is the name of the game here coming out for Magnolia. They have that Zuka in order to be able to shut down anything that could potentially happen in overtime or as they think is necessary. They do lose their pencil, but that pencil should be out of spawn pretty shortly. They still have this Zuka. It just looks to me like they're really, really playing their range as best they can. As Freeflow starts working their way in, the Zuka does come out. That's 3 down from Dripsy. Can they get the 4th? Going to trace JJ as they try and swing this clam. Then on that jump, inevitably camped, and that is GG's. The game going to Magnolia from a sneaky power clam dunk from I believe Brave, but regardless, Magnolia closing that out really strongly.
Honestly, with the intensity of these games, I'm actually really happy that this is a best of 5 set. Like,
Yes.
you could see just the way, right? Like, the strong players on Magnolia, like, you can really see how they're just flawless in Ludi right now. Like, they are showing up here. And against Freeflow, who is, like, very favored, like, been doing extremely well in all of the matches we've seen them today. Like, I'm shocked that they let that push from Magnolia get so far, but you could see just how they were extending it, how Freeflow couldn't watch all of their angles, and even the pencil just getting more clams in, like, evidently, right, that push to 23 was fatal for them.
Right, and the Neon Whale special is going to game 5 right time. So I hope you're ready for the long haul. As we start moving forward towards our next map, which would be Rainmaker, Museum de Alfonsino, and all of Neon Whale's maps for this week are based off of the Ludi list and what has been considered competitively viable over the past 6 months or so. So this, once again, a very familiar map mode for both of these teams. Kind of one of the quintessential Rainmaker maps for Splatoon 3.
Oh, for sure. Like, even though it's a Splatoon 1 map, I just feel like I play it all the time. Like, even like those squid rolls and squid, like, you can see actually on the left ramp of Museum, like, that squid roll onto plat instead of just running up that ramp is actually crucial for any defensive play. You can, like, even getting up on that spinner, and a lot of people, right, just kind of neglect that spinner even during their pushes because they kind of discount how incredible of a position it could be to hold, to have paint all over your plat. Like, and once you get a team into plat, it is like rooting out weeds from a garden. It is extremely difficult once they're set up there. It's annoying.
The way I describe this map when I am coaching my beloveds is you really got to play this plat to plat. Right. You don't want to be in mid for very long. It's very transitory, liminal space, if you would. So you want to spend as much time on the opponent plat as you can and clearing your own plat. You can't drop in the mid before you clear it, right? It's just that important, and frankly, a pain, to clear.
Right? You can see going into this game, right, Magnolia players are actually staying on their plat until they get that initial pick, right? Going headed here as they're getting now control of mid. They actually get that pick on that 10. Here comes that bubble on that pedestal. They might not get that pick, but now both of those members of Freeflow have dropped into mid or had to be pushed back further into plat. Brave here holding this Rainmaker, trying to get that early checkpoint. It's like only been, what, 40 seconds here as they're going to get this check, or almost into a cheeky bomb.
Yeah, very well placed and well timed bomb because to me that did look rather free for Magnolia, right? But now they're going to be able to be flanked by this left side. Dripsy not going to be able to clean that up as there's only 2 members of Magnolia left standing as this crab comes out from such a powerful position on top mid. JJ pushing up, going to be able to clear this back spinner here. They get Teamster, so it's just Dripsy out of spawn, and then it's the check initially following here for Freeflow.
Right, and you can see Magnolia is pushed all the way back. So essentially with this 10 shield, they have like free 20 points and down it goes to 17 as Magnolia wipes out on the defense. As long as Freeflow gets a fast pop, they can extend this even further. Swish here with that shield, letting their teammate push it to 4. This is basically game ending if Magnolia can't chase down that last member.
Magnolia does manage to clean that up, and we know how aggressive Teamster can be on this very aggressive battle, Junior. That bubble comes out on the checkpoint as they're going to try and get the picks with the bombs, but the Rainmaker there going to go down on that bottom right side to an unknown source. JJ flanking bottom left. It really looks to me like Magnolia's attention is split across various points of the map, and frankly, some of them are even backing. So this fight for mid, I do think, is going to lean heavily in Freeflow's favor.
Yeah, like having to push Cat all the way back right into a bad position for them. Like essentially their team has been completely split. The Rainmaker gets reset. Freeflow, all they really need to do and all they want to do really is to just play it cool. They don't need to push. They don't need to move it anywhere. Like the best position for the Rainmaker to be is probably in Magnolia's plat right now, just so they can't get it into their own space.
Yeah, the longer that the Rainmaker is on Magnolia's plat, the less time it's in mid, which means the less times it could potentially be used to push. Parks does have this crab, and I think they are aware that they are being flanked from the left. Yes, Brave going to be 2v1 here between Cakes and Parks, but it doesn't look like the members of Magnolia are going to be trying to push off of this, taking advantage of the fact that Freeflow did back in order to take that fight with the 52. Now they're going to get the checkpoint here time.
And now that's the free checkpoint they were looking for, but they have to push it all the way to 4. And Brave here is trying to just hold this space that their team so desperately wants, but they haven't been able to properly clear Freeflow from their plats. And back in here, Freeflow comes. Like, yes, they might be going members down, but again, any trades are an advantage for them as long as they have cooler and as long as the Rainmaker doesn't move forward.
Right, but they need to get going, right? A minute and a half is a decent amount of time so they can take their moment to get their specials, particularly that bubble, in order to be able to push the Rainmaker. We do see a delayed 3 down from Freeflow. That bubble does come out. They're saying this way, this way. The Zuka is up on top right, but the Rainmaker going down here, if more than one member is down, that's not going to be a sustained push for Magnolia. We finally lose Brave on that 52 holding the Rainmaker before Freeflow comes in and cleans up that bottom left side. Their plat regained.
Yeah, like this is now the final minute of the games. So we're going to see the members of Magnolia start getting a little desperate while Freeflow is just trying to keep this Rainmaker out of their plat. And the further away it is from their final checkpoint, the more safe and secure they are. Really, like, here comes Swish just holding it on the spinner. No need to move forward, just casually sitting here like it's a walk in the park while members of Magnolia run forward to try and just pick the easiest pick in the world that it looks like to them. Unfortunately, though, they are dodging and weaving and dodging and weaving, eventually going down to this head it. But you can see, right, Freeflow is not bothered at all. All of their members are far back, but this won't stop Teamster from running so far forward into their plat, trying to, like, make space for their team. But JJ is in mid, and it's going to be rough for them to get that Rainmaker that far forward.
Especially with that bubble coming out so early, right? We see Freeflow JJ trying to get Cat here on this Rainmaker. Cat, remember, the longer that they stay still, the more time Freeflow is going to have to encircle this very obvious Rainmaker, right? 2 members down on the side of Magnolia's. Cat starts having to back into a corner, and you can see that they want to be looking forward, but they can't. Their teammates aren't there yet. Brave does manage to get the jump in time, but Cakes trying to track down that 52. The 52 goes down to Cat on the Rainmaker. The tent on their right side. I'm just so impressed that they've managed to live this long. So once again, another 2v2 situation as Cat tries to go forward but finds himself smashed between the bomb Mom and JJ, and that is GG's Game 3 of our best of 5 set going over to Freeflow.
That was so close. Like, Cat had no choice but to move forward. Time was running out. Like, there was no way that they could hold that Rainmaker for that little bit longer that they so desperately needed. Like, their team is more than capable of pushing up, but pushing up to 4 in overtime when you're stuck in mid is probably one of the hardest things you can do on Museum Rainmaker.
It is extremely difficult, and the fact that we did see Cat play their life for that long, really wonderful job from them there. Truly. Now, magnolia, a beautiful flower, by the way. I don't know if you've ever smelled a magnolia. Truly wonderful. They do grow in the southeast where I'm from, so the smell of magnolias always remind me of home. Right, magnolia also is a nice element that's incorporated into perfumes, and more importantly, right now, candles. Let's light one up to defeat the stink here.
I knew you were circling back. I just knew it. I was waiting for you, Skep. I was waiting for you. I'm like, okay, when's the part coming? Like, when are we gonna start talking about it? I'm actually from the southeast too. I actually love the smell of magnolias, though sometimes it's a little overpowering for me because I have a very sensitive nose.
Me too.
That being said, I do agree it's very pleasant, and you know we're going to be going over to Tower Manta in a moment. I actually live by the sea, so the combination of the smell it's not unusual for me, especially because my mom really loves those kinds of things. It's very nostalgic. It reminds me of home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I when I lived in Florida up until last year, we had magnolia trees all around our apartment. And recently I was on a university campus here out west, and they had magnolia trees. I don't know how they're growing that in the desert, but they are. I guess that's where your tuition is going. And
Taxpayer dollars.
yeah, and I got a smell of that magnolia, and I was just like, man, I feel like I'm back in Florida right now. It was so wonderful.
We'll talk about Florida as a Manta Maria is definitely something, right? We can see these comps coming out. Like, that Battle Junior is lethal as long as they can get into a good spot. But Freeflow, on the other hand, swapping the Parks back over to that heavy spot lane. So now it looks like we're going to be seeing them just try to get in mid, and hopefully, like, oh, as I say that, actually, Parks does get a crazy initial pick on Brave, and then on Cat. Like, this is insane. Like, now all they need to do is get this Junior with Bubble, and down they go. Parks now moving forward, getting this crazy triple as they're able to let their team lock down all the area that they could ever want and more.
No, a less disciplined player would be asking themselves, where is the fort? Where's my quad? And probably be inting there, right? But Freeflow managing to get this tower broken past that second checkpoint. This is where this map does start to snowball. 3 down on the side of Magnolia. It is just Cat left on that elbow area as Cakes does pop that cooler. It's a 2v2 situation, but we see Freeflow just continuing to move that tower. Finally taking a moment to breathe, but this is the point where that tower is very sustainable for the aggro team. No doubt they sustain their push here.
Dripsy here getting that Zuka out, but unfortunately having to go down. Like, as you said, right, the aggro team here is an advantage, especially on this last checkpoint. It's extremely hard to remove him, even harder when there's a tentacle on tower. You can see Cat trying to jump on that tower, unable to, as Freeflow gets a quick knockout on game 4.
Yeah, and that, taking with it, that is our set point for 3-1 before Freeflow to Magnolia. Really, just a phenomenal 100-0 push that time and time again centered around Parks on that heavy. I can't believe we're losing to Stinky Gamers. They've defeated us, time. They've defeated us. Us too.
Unfortunately for you, Skep, you're gonna be smelling this stench.
Oh.
You're gonna be smelling this stench a while longer. As that was semis here, so they're going to be in winners bracket finals in just a moment against the winner of 37 beautiful trans girls, and Potato versus Stargaze, right?
Come on, just say. Oh, I can't make that joke. I don't know how Potato was feeling
Uh-oh.
about it. We will be right back. Thank you so much for watching Neon Wail. We'll be just getting our stream set up for the next round. Very eccentric comp out for Freeflow that we have been seeing them run with Swish on that tech and Parks on that heavy, a weapon that is often overlooked in competitive play.
Right, you can see, right, especially how well that Parks is able to use their weapon. Like, you've seen time and time again, they've been able to just get crazy picks because people just don't respect the range. They're not used to playing against something like that. You can see already Parks is moving forward on this ramp, just taking care of, or at least trying to pick that Zuka, forcing them back. Unfortunately, Freeflow's Clam ends up getting taken out by a hammer, so now it's just the heavy, and they go down too, as now Luna is moving forward, taking Freeflow's court, and just trying to, in general, let their team move up behind them before they can get their push going.
Right, and Luna's about to have those strikes, which are going to be invaluable for clearing this very claustrophobic area that is flat. I don't know if you've seen the video from Kyo, where he layers strikes all over that flat to deny any form of retreat, but it's a very useful tool here coming up from 37 Beautiful T-Girls, and I don't know if they're running it because of that video, but Luna, obviously an incredibly talented shot player, going to be able to take advantage of small little things.
I feel like Tentatek is actually a much more aggressive weapon than V-Shot, just because you have that splat bomb and you can fight with it. Like, Luna here can actually be on left, basically on their own, because they can move with their splat bomb. They can take those fights. Like, they don't need to shy away, and they don't need to, like, just spend a lot of the game farming, especially because their weapon on its own is very strong. You can see here
right.
Twig on that left side actually with 7 clams. Like, they're ready to go. Freeflow is 2 down. All they need to do is get that clam to start their push.
Yeah, and Luna, she has this clam. They know it's just Parse on that right side. We do see that 5th gen is going in to try and deal with that, but is unable to. Luna getting ever so close to those aforementioned strikes. We've seen it time and time again that 37 Beautiful T-Girls and Potato have just been trying so hard to get onto this flat, but getting foiled by the last player that is left standing on the side of Freeflow. Finally, we see Freeflow is able to push these members of 37 Beautiful T-Girls back onto this flat as the Zuka does come out up on that top left side. And there's a beautiful pin that Freeflow is executing here on this flat.
Yeah, you can see Freeflow is now coming in hot. Members of 37 Beautiful T-Girls and Potato are starting to go down as they get this clam in. These strikes are going to start going on flat here, just forcing Freeflow out of the space that they've taken. Unfortunately, that does mean Freeflow's push does end, and they go 2 down, giving 37 Beautiful Trans Girls and Potato the space in mid that they need to contest this.
Right, and now, like, Freeflow's push to 80 remaining was, it's not much, right? And neither is 37 Beautiful T-Girls and Potato's push to 60 remaining. Realistically, Freeflow can take this back without much of a fuss, but given that it's been the orange team that has been in control of mid for the majority of the game, I don't see it going that way, right? There needs to be some significant change here coming out from Freeflow, and we're starting to see that, right? With that 10th on the right side, we see Parks up on that left side. This pressure that they have needs to be sustained and timely in order to be able to pull lead here with a minute remaining.
Yeah, Clam Blitz Inkling is one of those maps where I'm not shocked if a small lead ends up being able to win the game. Like, this is 2 power clams. Like, for Freeflow, they really just need to dunk, like, a power and then some. And really, you can see these strikes coming out onto Freeflow's court, but nobody's able to move in with them. Like, here comes the Zuka, here comes their specials. Like, 5th gen has this hammer. They could go in if they wanted to, but they're exercising an incredible amount of patience as they're just going in now, or trying to, unfortunately, gets chased back. So now Freeflow is just waiting, or at least trying to. There are 2 balls and gets picked by this Zuka, so now they're going to start their push. Freeflow has now gotten that push. They only need a few more. Like, Cakes has this power clam. They need to get that dunked at the very least. Like, it's overtime. It's going to end. And unfortunately, that is curtains for Freeflow, taking game 2 of that set.
Yeah, and again, we're looking at match point here, right? This is, whoever wins this goes on the Grand Finals. It wouldn't be over in this case for what is looking to be Freeflow, because there's still the losers bracket to go through. But regardless, like, that was a much more even game than one would expect.
Right, you could see at the very end of their game, they did get that power clam and then won. And Cakes, they were so ready with that power to jump in. Unfortunately, though, they could not make that jump and they could not get into that space. So it was a very clean victory almost, even though the end was a little scary.
Right, and here we go, moving on to Game 3, Splatzone's Robo Ramen, ubiquitous map mode played by these competitors time and time again. Yeah.
Robo Zones is, well, we've seen this played before, right? Like, I mentioned, like, last time, you could definitely move around, like, those left and right flanks, but really, if you can get the enemy's elbow, like, you have strikes, right? 37 beautiful trans girls, and of course, Potato, are running those, like, strikes that Luna is really good at placing very technically. On the other hand, though, last time we saw Freeflow on Robo Zones, they also did get locked out, like, immediately and lost that game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was very intense. Like, I'm sure that right now they're running it through their minds thinking that can't happen again, but that can't, like, it's curtains, we can't. So I'm excited to see how this game's going to go, especially with how close it is. I don't expect Freeflow to get locked out again.
On this map, though, which Robo Ramen, it can be so lockout heavy, and with this comp that 37 tgirls has been running with that pencil, with that range advantage over the heavy, I do think that potentially they could lock out here.
It's going to be something to behold for sure, right? I can definitely see both futures, so you know, it's very fun.
Yeah, but I'm excited to be able to continue to see both of these teams play as we move on to Splatzone's Robo Ramen here in our winners finals of Neon Wail by SAC number 11. This, I'm excited! Let's go, time!
Yeah! I mean, 11 is a wonderful number, but anyway, we do see a heavy deco actually coming out on the side of Freeflow. On the other hand, those 37 beautiful girls and Potato bring out that range blaster, which is going to be hitting around that 10 shield. Like, JJ and Swish already moving aggressively, getting that initial cap on zone. Though those strikes do come out, JJ is now focusing on 5th gen, gets the pick, almost gets that double on Twig, as Twig now rotates back to zone for that defense. Unfortunately, though, like, they are not able to dispute it just yet, as that goes back to Freeflow, as now Freeflow is in control of this elbow, getting those specials forward. Like, they know that they don't want to be locked out again, so it looks like they're going to be the ones locking out.
Right, and Freeflow, that tent is just going to do such a great job at holding elbow. Like I described the pencil doing earlier, we can't dismiss Swish's tent. 37 beautiful tgirls and Potato does cap that zone, right? And we see this cooler come out, but now they have to find a way to push in past Swish up on that tent, which is just so valuable in controlling that choke point. The specials are popped. This Zuka does come out for Freeflow, but it gets only one pick. So 37 going to be able to pull the lead here.
Yeah, like, even though Freeflow is able to get back that zone, those strikes do come out, and they're dangerous. And 5th gen, on the other hand, though, in more danger as this Kraken is coming for them. Unfortunately, though, does get picked, and that's 2 members of Freeflow down. Now, 37 beautiful tgirls, their only goal really is to get into that elbow, pick up all remaining members of Freeflow in mid, and get that lockout rolling. here they are. Like, literally, it's just Swish, and Swish goes down. So now all they need to do is get into their position. JJ fighting, saying, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back to jail. Unfortunately, though, Twig is sending them back, throwing these bombs into this elbow here. As Freeflow is able to get a push back into mid with that 10 shield. Takes gets picked, though. So really, it's Twig here on this bottom left-hand corner, just making sure that their lockout can go at least making sure that they can't get locked out.
Right, but there's only 2 members left standing. We do see that Twig does have that Zuka, but as it is Pop's, Potato does go down, so it's just Twig left standing in that zone, but those 2 picks on Freeflow with that Zuka are invaluable as Freeflow tries to skirmish through the zone. Now we're in the danger zone time, especially now that Swish has gotten down. Freeflow needs to run at the zone in order to even have a chance at contesting it, and no doubt 37 does know this. The Zuka comes out from Freeflow. It does force Luna back, but not for long enough. They are going to be able to recap this zone, and that is GG's and set point. 37 beautiful T-Girls and Potato moving on to grand finals, sending Freeflow to the losers bracket.
That was a crazy set. You could see, right, Freeflow was just so desperate to not get locked out again. Like, they could not go through that again. And luckily, they were able to actually hold their elbow as best they could. They even had really good pushes back into mid with that 10 shield, with that Kraken, with their specials. Those coordinated efforts cannot be overstated. But on the other hand, 37 beautiful T-Girls and Potato are aware of what it takes to get back into mid and are just waiting to pick them off one by one as the 10 shield fades out. So
without further ado, we will be looking forward to the loser side of our bracket after a very short commentary break. As for the rest of Neon Wail by SAC 11, we are going to be seeing, I believe here, the you're going to pay your penance now versus the winner between Stargaze and #Sloth. We'll be back in just a moment. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Neon Wail by SAC. My name is Skepadillions, and I'm here with my lovely friend Typhlo for a pre-recorded broadcast of our losers semifinals.
That is one way to put it. That is correct, Skep. We are here because the stream went down and we've been having troubles. But just saying, as a TO, it's been very, very funny and very entertaining to watch Skep struggle and just the whole day's been ruined. I'm kidding. You've been doing the best you can. It's been very fun. In more ways than one. And we've had a great tournament so far as the actual games are considered. So that we're thankful for. And here we are into a game against You're Going to Pay Your Penance Now versus Stargaze, a rematch of winners round 2, I believe. Stargaze took that one 2-1. Skep, you were there to commentate that, as you've been for the whole night, right? Anything stick out with you during that?
Just how even it was, right? And I think that we saw Penance take the edge when they were leaning into that double midline comp. When they brought their sub in and they were running triple front line, like it did not cook. Like it was burning in the kitchen. But when they did bring out the double midlines, you could really see that they were able to shut down Stargaze's much shorter range, rattier comp. So we are seeing a blend between both of those aforementioned comps on behalf of Penance, bringing out that Devil Shot, a Stamper, and a Pencil.
Yeah, double shot, classic double Zuko. We're just gonna go kill everything. Acing here says, I'm killing you first, huh? Already got one. That's a double quick for Acing. That's almost 3 for Acing. Quick start here for Stargaze off the bat. They gotta shut down Acing. They gotta shut down this Luna if they're gonna have a chance here, Skep.
Yeah, especially playing underneath these ledges on that left side. It prevents any sort of flank on the Rainmaker, as the Rainmaker from Rose does nearly get that first checkpoint. Rose jumps right back on in, and that is Stargaze breaking that first check with 2 members left standing. The shot and the pencil far back behind Spawn for Penance. A decent lead, 39 remaining here for Stargaze, especially so early, less than a minute into the game, but that is not a lead that you expect to hold over the course of a 5-minute game.
It might not, but they've got the numbers advantage here. Acing goes in, the Rainmaker goes in for even more points here, all the way down to 18 for Stargaze. That is excellent for them. Kraken's coming out now, might even go for more points here, might go for the pop. Penance is going to slow that down. There they go for more points, all the way down to 6. That is really, really strong here. Penance has got their work cut out for them if they want to come back here, huh?
And they're still struggling to get control back of their plat. We see Kiki gets that pick on KM, and finally, for the first time this game, Penance is really able to start trying to contest mid. 2 members down on the side of Stargaze as Hayden brings this Rainmaker around towards that first check and does manage to get that jump dunk before going down swiftly to a suction bomb on the checkpoint.
Yeah, I want to give a special shout out to Love Galore, the Stanford there. That Zipcaster was able to bring them, get their teammates in there and able to take the plat, able to take the check there. We do see a DC here. That is unfortunate for the side of Stargaze here. That's going to make this push a lot easier. That's unfortunate. That sucks.
I do want to point out the fact that Stargaze did get to 6 remaining, so that means that they are no longer eligible for a replay and are going to have to hold this massive lead that they have bought for themselves for 3 minutes. Granted, that lead is massive, but like you said, 3 minutes is such a long time in Splatoon.
Yeah, and we were just talking about how close they were the first set. I would be very impressed if they would hold it for 3 full minutes. Again, they got to get all the way to 5 here in total, right? They could definitely do it. It's definitely possible. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. It's a 4v3 against 2 pretty evenly matched teams, right? We'll see what they can do here. Hayden's on the pencil here to get jumps back in. They're going to get that numbers advantage. They're going to have the numbers advantage for pretty much the majority of this rest of this game here. They're going to have to do something to get these remaining couple members out of here and maybe take the lead off of this pure numbers advantage that's just going to stay forever. Here it comes right here, and yeah, there it is. So, I mean, tough situation for Stargaze, right? Members, DCs, not very fun for us, but hey, they all had a great start of the push. Hopefully for game 2 here, they'll be able to utilize that in a true 4v4 fair setting.
Right, and
we're gonna have to keep things out, yeah.
Honestly, where I thought things went wrong was the fact that we saw Rose and Acing both try and drop that Rainmaker. In the first instance, Rose was not able to complete that drop, so the Rainmaker stayed by that checkpoint. In the second instance, Acing was able to grab it, but then went down, so then we would end up in a staggered 2 down permanently situation, and that just made it extremely difficult for Stargaze to recover.
Yeah, it was a pretty risky play trying to drop it. You're already down a full member, and if you don't succeed, you're going to be down 2 full members, so where the Rainmaker's going to die. Of course, if you get it down, you'll be able to maybe reset up for another defense, but you're on full defense the full time. It's not going to be easy.
Right.
Tough for Stargaze there, and that's really unfortunate, right? We don't want to see that. Hopefully, though, they were able to push to 6 pretty early in that game, so hopefully on Zones Mahi, assuming no connection issues, we might be able to see a more fair and balanced game, and maybe Stargaze can even this up 1-1.
Right, they do keep in mind this is a best of 3, so Stargaze does have to take the next 2 games in order to advance to losers finals, and that's a tall order, right? We're talking about 2 evenly matched teams. They both have +3 players on either side. Like it's not a cakewalk type set. This isn't a low link alpha team DC in game 1 in their Swiss stage, and then, having to beat up some Div 9 little Timmies in order to, bring it to
you
a 2-1.
You gotta respect the Timmies of our society here. Skep, that is so disrespectful. I expected better from you.
I knew it.
Come on now.
Why did I let you on mic? I should have expected you to just walk in and play me.
Well, of course. What am I here for, right? No,
Right.
the point that you were trying to make in a more respectful manner is that both of these teams are pretty evenly matched, and we've seen that before. One's not the better team than the other. One is not more technically skilled, more mechanically skilled. They've both played very even games so far, and this is no cakewalk. Now you have to play you're already down a free game. You give a free game to someone who's already on your level. That's no fun. And
Right.
now you got to win the Zones Mahi game and a Clan Blitz Barnacle game. No room for error. Not fun for Stargaze. We'll see what they're able to do here.
Thankfully for them, Mahi is a more claustrophobic map mode. Right, Splatoon's Mahi. And that does play into the strengths of their comp. Between that Kraken, the Luna, and the Tri-Slosher, and then Zap, you slap a Zap anywhere, and it should be relatively comfortable. Right,
That's
so they
very
do,
true.
in terms of, with a positive outlook and mindset, their comp, I do think, has the advantage here.
Yeah, I definitely like their comp. Obviously, the 96 is going to be able to hold pretty steady against the Stamper. We're seeing the Neo Splash out here for just extra paint and strikes and spam, ideally here. I would have liked to have seen the double Zuka personally. I think that the double Zuka on a very open map would have been nice for the Stamper. But you're right, it is also very claustrophobic at the same time. It's a very small map. The Luna Neo's going to be able to get in and do some damage. The Trident Toad's going to be able to throw some subs, throw just fizzy after fizzy and spam that, get coolers out. But right away, we're seeing the Neo Splash and the shot work out for them. They got 3 down on the side of Stargaze, and they're pushing up.
Right, and Kiki is all the way up underneath. This plat does get shut down very swiftly by a combination of chip. We see Love Galore starting to back into that zone as this stamp does come out. The map is so small, but they manage to duck and weave around acing, but not get the pick. That Stargaze recapping the zone here, Typhlo. Now they can start taking advantage of that paint, and particularly, like you mentioned, that double fizzy, that is a unique strength to their comp here.
Very unique strength for the comp. Shoutouts to acing there for the double on the hammer after dodging, ducking, and weaving, and they're able to heat their Kraken. There goes Bounce right now on the retake for Penance. Is going to shut that down, get a quick pick there. Really strong, able to hold in that Kraken in that first initial push to retake allows them to hold it here. Really strong stuff from Stargaze. They're going to be able to hold off this push.
They have to be able to win and maintain this lead that they are building here in order to move on to game 3. This is match point in favor of Penance, as Penance does retake that zone and manages to trade out KM on that bottom right side as well. Kiki, we saw how aggressive they got earlier, running straight for that plat, but right now they are taking their time, being patient, and building that Zuka that is going to be used, no doubt, to punish Stargaze on a map mode where retaking with specials is absolutely critical.
Absolutely, and we've seen this Neo Splash here getting tons and tons of strikes, and I know it's a bit political. I signed a waiver that don't get political on the IPL stream, but Neo Splash is the new hotness, right? With all the strikes and all the spam, and just purely just to set up your other players, your midline aggressors there. The Stamper's able to get in and get some kills with that Neo Splash, being able to get those tri-strikes into the zone, push them in. Now we see Stargaze back on the aggressive. They've taken down the Neo Splash and the pencil. That's both of the heavy weapons on Penance down. They're gonna have to reset here. They're able to pick off the 96. That's huge for if they want to get back in.
Clearing their penalty, but regardless, Penance is trying to cap that zone before Stargaze does manage to clear that aforementioned penalty, and they do. Acing goes in and goes down to some chip damage from that strikes, and look how much paint down that Penance already has on that ground, right? Love Galore trading out rows on that right side, and they have these specials again to punish Stargaze on the retake. Now, Kraken is an invincibility special, so they are going to be able to drop with that here, try and chase down Nicholas. There's no member of Stargaze that's able to push in with that Kraken as Penance takes the lead.
It's not very good there. They needed more people off with the Kraken there. They were able to get the Luna Neo in, but not in time. The hammer did not get much value, got shut down. The Kraken got shut down. All that shutdown means Penance is close here to taking not only the game, but the full set as well.
Point right here with 15 ticks remaining, and Penance has Zuka online. Stargaze needs to go, and they need to go now, but they lose their shot as that Zuka comes out. The stamp is out in zone, but not able to paint, and that is GG's. You're going to pay your penance now. Taking
You're
the
gonna pay
set.
your penance now.
and with it, moving on to winners finals to take their set against Freeflow, coming right up.
Yeah, tough situation for Stargaze, right? You gave the first game away essentially for free, and you had such a good push to start that first game too. You had a great offense on this game too, but you know, once your Luna Neo was going down, once your other players were going down, there you just didn't have the firepower to get back in with all those short range comps, and they were able to get walled out and pushed out. Tough game for Stargaze. Thanks for the coming out though. I appreciate it. They were able to get the win earlier against these guys, just wasn't able to do it here. And I'm sure they'll take 4th place. Is not bad. Obviously, they wanted to get podium. But hey, we appreciate you coming out. And it was a good set. The second game was super fun. Sorry to see it end like this. That is tough. I know I'd be furious personally. I'd be like, hey, what the heck is going on here? Why's your internet going down right now during this set? Like, come on, get it together. Yeah, maybe, but like,
wait.
if that happened to me that first game, you know, props to them for even playing that second game like in a close set, because I would just be like so mad. I'd be insta feeding, I'd be throwing, it'd be a miserable experience. So Shout outs to my teammates for putting up with me. Shout outs to Stargaze for putting up a good fight in that second game. Because it was a very close game.
It was. And this is a little bit of a different type of broadcast, right? So I'm
Okay.
gonna take the type the moment of opportunity to tell a story time. Alright, are you
Oh,
ready?
I'm ready for this. Oh, nothing better than a skip story. Let's hear it.
And I'm asking them to send the invite. Alright, so back in my day, when I was on my first baby team, and I was playing the low ink, Hidden Radiance of the Dawn.
How old are you? 30? 35?
Okay. Relax. We had two teams. We were a clan of sorts, right? And so there was Hidden
Oh,
Radiance
that
of the
is old.
Dawn and Hidden Radiance of the Twilight, right? I know. I think we were one of the last ones to
some
really do
Splatoon
this
1
before Splat a
shenanigans.
lot, but regardless. Uh Anyway, we were facing in low ink, and there was Hidden Radiance of the Dawn versus Hidden Radiance of the Twilight, like in low
Uh-oh.
ink, right? And so of course they put that on stream, right?
Civil
Because that,
War.
you're right. um, I'm so mad, Kevin. I'm so mad, bro.
All these years later, you're fuming. You can't sleep at night. You're like, oh.
No, I'm furious, Kevin. DC'd twice during that set beyond the time that we would have been eligible for a replay, and we
Ooh,
lost that
hurts.
set on stream to Twilight, and we were so much better.
Oh, yeah, were you?
Yeah! We were the better team, and we lost because Kevin DC'd twice, and I'm still mad. Okay?
Sounds like you weren't the better team that day.
I sounds like the routers were.
The routers have decided you are not very good at Splatoon.
Foiled
okay.
by
GG's
our
doing this.
routers. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I tell you
Okay.
what, clans were an old idea. I believe they were because a lot of Splatoon teams came from Mario Kart initially. In Mario Kart, you
Well,
need clans because you need at least 6 people to be in your races, and then maybe even more. So back in the old days, I'm talking like the Stone Age, we would have different clans, and it was great. Obviously, one of the big ones, we had Koopa Clan. We had, oh god, why don't I think of Koopa Clan? I had like 10 in my head, and then they all just disappeared, evaporated.
mm,
You had Squid Squad, you had IQ. There was so many.
yeah,
You're gonna have to help me out. How many Splatoon 1 clans can you name? Rapid
none.
fire.
I started
Great.
playing. I started playing post all patches.
Post all Splatoon 1. Yeah. So you're the last
And no, it's
bastion of
Splatoon
Splatoon
2.
clans.
Right.
Oh, post Splatoon 2, so that you're really the last bastion. In fact, you're
Right.
probably like a resurgence, if anything. Yeah, the idea of a clan was great until you realized that you had 10 people on your team and 7 of them wanted to play in a tournament. And how do you pick that, right?
Right.
So
No, it's for us, we were that way structured because like I said, it was like my first team. It was my baby comp team. And when you put out a recruitment post saying that you're recruiting people, no experience required, oh man, you
yeah,
get a lot of people. And I was nice, and I was like, wow, all these people want to play for my Splatoon team.
right. I'm sure
And
you
I
were
like
the
all of
one reason
them.
why people were joining.
So,
Hey, we got a set coming up here.
are you
Freeflow
roasting
versus
me?
Penance. No, I would never.
No. Wait, I
No.
smell some disrespect there, Typhlo.
Oh, of course, everybody wants to play for Skeptilian's team, right? Why would you not want to play for Skep? Exactly right. Exactly right.
You know, you're right. Yeah, why wouldn't you? You know,
Yeah, there you go. There's the
yeah,
can-do spirit.
when the ego lets you ignore the disrespect.
Skep, I think you should put out an IPL clan
I should.
and do
Do you
some
think
in-house
they would
scrims.
not? They
Because
would
that's
not
the
let me do
one
that.
good thing about IPL is that not IPL about clans is that you're able to set up these in-house scrims and get a lot of practice against
You
people
mean
that
like
are.
we do in mid queue, bruh? That you never pull up for?
Why would I pull up for mid queue? It's got mid.
All right. Oh, you meanie pants.
Shout outs to
Anyway,
Sendo Q. Shout outs to Sendo. Shout outs to our teams here as we're getting into this.
Free
Skip, how about we
Flow.
talk about the game here? Freeflow versus Penance.
You're going to pay your penance now
Ow!
versus Free Flow. This is very exciting. This determines who goes on to rematch 37.
No, it's Catnip.
Yeah.
Who's up against Catnip? 37 sexy T-girls and Potato
Candidate.
and Dara and Jisha and all the others. Here we got Freeflow on already down Umbrella here, but with JJ on the offense here on the squeezer. That's just such a strong weapon, right? I want to point out that they're running the ballpoint here as well. I don't know if they've been running that before, but what are we gonna call this player? iHeartRadio. Let's just go with iHeartRadio here.
Oh my
On
god,
the 10,
that's
was able to
sick.
go down. Okay, can I just say I love the fun. I think it's great.
I know, you're wrong. We asked them to change their name, and then we made a whole bunch of fart jokes on stream, and then they changed their name, and now it's back. So, Free Flow smells L.
It looks like Penance laid an egg there. They're back on the offense. They're able to slow him down. That was terrible. I'm sorry, by the way. I love the.
My face
It is such a. It is such a. It's a funny difference in comps. We both have zap-based comps. There's no pencil here on TC Undertow. There's no heavy edit either, which I think is heavy edit's pretty good here. I could be wrong. We don't see TC Undertow a lot. I assume it's one of the Looty maps this week.
Yes, it is.
TC
Oh,
from Penance.
this-
This is tough. This is
and
okay.
then-
So last time it was Stargaze. This time it's Penance.
yeah.
You know, the stream went down. The DC the previous game. The DC this game. Skep, I'm wondering if the gods of the internet are simply against us this evening.
I think they might be. I think it's because you're not nice to me.
I'm not nice to you. That's why the internet's going down.
Yeah, it's because Typho
Alright.
is a big meanie pants
Well,
and it's
on
not nice
behalf
to me.
of everybody here watching, who's ever, first of all, thank you for watching our VOD. Shoutouts to you. You're the goats. If you are watching, I apologize on behalf of Skep and the rest of IPL and the rest of Neon Wail staff. I apologize for not being nice enough that we can't have Splatoon. That is entirely my fault. You're
Right.
correct, Skep.
I
That
just
is,
kindness
on
makes
me.
the world go round, right?
Well, I like kindness to get the internet going here because this has been tough. Well,
We can start-
they was early, so we are gonna be able to get a replay. So it's not a free win for Penance or Freeflow in this case. So happy for
Mhm.
that.
Right.
We're gonna see more of this. Skep, what did you think of the comps we saw? Because they're not gonna be able to switch.
I like them. They were good. The free flow.
That's the response to someone who forgot who's playing what.
Shut up. I mean, Swish, like, you love Swish on the 10, right? Hopefully they take the time to remove
That is
fart from their
Art
IGN.
radio. Respectfully.
Yeah.
Show some
there's-
respect.
Excuse me.
Swish, if you're watching this, shoutouts to you. Shoutouts for
No,
sticking with the joke. I
no,
love it.
No.
Keep it up. Proud of you. I shouldn't be saying that. I'm
Aw.
sorry. Swish, how dare you?
Typho, the dark horse of the Unreal staff.
Look, yeah, maybe. Because like I love the Neon Whale people. I love playing with them. I play against them in other IPL tournaments. I played against them in SOS. Shoutouts to
Right.
SOS staff. I play against a lot of these players with my own team. Shoutouts to the Denny's team. Denny's regulars, what's up? Check us out on Twitter. But yeah, like when you play against these guys, like you get used to the same people every day. Like I've played
Mhm.
against 37 T-girls and Potato more times than I can shake my fist at, right? But you come against the same group of people, you get used to them, you get used to their jokes, their behavior, and a lot of us, we have the minds of middle school boys, and I think it's very wholesome and cute and adorable. So,
Do you know 5th gen?
of course, I know 5th gen, not personally.
Alright,
I'm not
here
like
we
I'm not
go.
like, I'm not like the
Getting
bestie here.
Back
Okay, yeah, we're
right
getting back into it. Skep, you got it. Take us away.
Alright, here we go. We're looking at the exact same comps because this is a replay, and now we can actually go in locked in to this next game. We see you're going to pay your penance now, bringing out that range blaster that they have. I believe that was who they had in last time on Hayden. Forgive me, Typho may have been right. And that fall point from Freeflow. Yeah, you mentioned Parks normally does play heavy, so they're likely using that inkjet from that ball point in order to clear that top left area above the second checkpoint above the tower.
mean, for one thing, Ballpoint's biggest nemesis, right, is the pencil, the number one weapon in the game currently. They're not running a pencil, they're running an NZAP comp, and they have the CRB is going to be able to shut down those packs, but aside from that, unless your Stamper is absolutely goated, right, like they're not going to be able to do too much about the packs. It's going to be pretty strong, and this is also a really, really great pack map, too. So we'd like to see the Ballpoint here. I think it works out great for them. As well as the CRB working out against this tent too, the other favoring case for 10 Penance here. And as a result, we're seeing a lot more even fight here. In the first go around, if you will, Swish, not iFart Radio, Swish went down early, but JJ was able to clutch up for Freeflow and able to return that 3v4 into a 3v2. This time is a lot more even. We played a full minute now. We're just finally seeing some people go down here for Penance.
Right, it is the replay effect, if you would. Now we see that Freeflow has managed to break that first checkpoint. Obviously, it's Tower Control Undertow. That first checkpoint does tend to come relatively free, but at the end, it's just Eden left standing on the range roster, going to be taken out with Azuka from Squish. As this tower works its way through the second checkpoint, that inkjet comes out from Parks, as I mentioned, that would be used to clear the area above tower at second checkpoint, exactly as expected.
Second was great for, first of all, getting the second checkpoint, completely shut down any defense Penance could have. But they didn't get any follow-up off of that. Ideally, you get a couple picks with it as well. You get some movement from the rest of your players. They couldn't get any of that. The jumps get camped, the respawn there gets camped, and they're back on the defense here. Great pick, though, on the defense from the Ballpoint. Cakes is going to be able to get a jump here as well. And perhaps here they'll be able to push in if they can get this kill as well. Love Galore actually takes it back, so Penance still has a fighting chance here to get some offense going.
Yeah, and here's that first checkpoint. You see Parks on that Ballpoint up on the top right. Hayden not able to assist in getting that pick, so Parks is left standing. That's some crossfire on the tower, but somehow Parks goes down on that Ballpoint, like I mentioned, and you're going to pay your now is able to start looking towards this left side of the map. We know Squish is down there, given that the tent shield is there. We know Hayden's fighting something. Nicholas doesn't see it, so they're not able to assist in that fight. Forced to back, but does get picked out by Parks and JJ. Cake's going to be able to take their time here, get some paint down in mid, but it does look like Freeflow has unfortunately gone 2 down. It's just Parks left standing after all of that fire.
Yeah, I somewhat alluded to it earlier. They really are going to struggle to get Parks out of their position. They don't have much for the inkjet. They don't have much to challenge in terms of range here. Obviously, they have a lot of good mid lines, but nothing to be able to push that inkjet. And there goes another one, right? Like, it's tough for them. So every time they get a pick on the Ballpoint, it's huge for Penance. Parks is in a great position. He's able to completely shut down this this offense from Penance here, along with some assists from Cakes and JJ as well. It's going to be an uphill battle for Penance. They got to remove this Ballpoint however they can if they're going to see some offense here.
And Freeflow does have those double Zukas online. It is slower Zukas than we get from outcome shots, but regardless, 2 of them is still a pain. 3 members down on the side if you're going to pay your penance now, as Freeflow finally manages to get their toes on that tower. It's going to be Cakes riding it as Freeflow tries to flush out that 52 from that right side, does manage to do so as this cooler comes out. Beautifully timed and placed cooler for Freeflow as they start barreling towards this third checkpoint.
Yeah, Swish has been an absolute menace. You talked about double Zuka being a pain. Swish got at least 1, maybe 2 on that initial fight, and was able to push up even further, take tons of space, and it looks like that's going to be the game off of Swish's pure aggression on that tent. Yep, sure enough, able to hold it off on the jump back in. Freeflow takes game 1.
Yeah, and dominantly, I might add. You're going to pay your penance now, was able to get the tower on their bottom left side, right? They were able to get to that second checkpoint, but simply were not able to sustain it, mostly due to what you mentioned being Parks' inkjet pressure.
Yeah, and also shouts to the fist bump from Cakes and JJ. Swish was definitely very far forward. It's hard to move a tent out of the way, right? Cannot stand tent, my biggest mortal enemy, aside from like 3 other weapon classes. But that's a tough one to deal with, right? I'm sorry?
Nothing.
Can I say that again? I actually genuinely didn't hear. Skill issue? You got me skill issue? Yeah, maybe. I'll own up to it. I'm not very good against tents. What am I gonna do? I play shooters. I'm sorry, but I mean, like they have the CRB who has a good advantage against tent, but then that tent's pushing forward. It's getting Zukas, and Swish is a very good player. It's hard to deal with, and not only that, but you also deal with a Ballpoint who's holding down, getting inkjets to push them in to begin with. They're cooler thanks to the NZAP as well. Very difficult stuff. And then of course JJ's on the squeezer, who's also able to, in a very similar scenario, just mow them down with such a highly strong midline weapon that should absolutely just wreck a
Mhm.
defense, right? It's going to be
Yeah.
difficult for them to handle that. Do you have any ideas on how they handle the tent, the squeezer, the ballpoint? What would you do if you were Penance here coming into this game too?
Hmm.
Yeah, is right.
No, no, I'm actually thinking, bruh, hold on,
Well,
let
okay. Well, I was gonna take
let
over for
my
you because
brain
you're not
cells
much of
cook.
a thinker. Yeah. Okay, go
Oh,
ahead. No, go ahead.
excuse
Go ahead.
me. No,
Oh no, I was giving you an out first of all.
I first of all, okay,
No, no. First of all,
I would
you
keep
have any
the range
ideas?
blaster involved, right?
Yes, I agree.
So the range blaster is a really good check into the 10, also a good check into inkjet from the ballpoint. Very good at playing underneath the ledges at the ballpoint. What's the play under? At that point, I would focus, once you have the range blaster, I personally would focus on weapons that are able to keep high paint output and also move quickly around those two weapons in order to facilitate team fights. And we do
For
see.
you, they did exactly that, didn't they? Neo Splash and the pencil. That's very high paint for their CRB. It's going to be able to push them in, and a Neo Stamper as well. Crab's really, really strong here. Love the Neo Splash pick. Love the pencil pick, by the way. It shuts down the ballpoint. Hayden
Oh,
already doing work with the pencil, right? And the Neo Splash getting quick
and you
special in. That's
flamed me,
Penance.
dog.
No, you know what? You gave a solid answer. Penance said, "I agree with you, Skep. That's a good idea." Instantly holds the first fight win there.
This is why they pay me the analyst bucks, Typhlo.
Well, I won't. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll talk about that later.
We do see Penance is able to maintain control of the zone, and just look how different this is compared to the previous game, right? It's a delayed 3 down for Freeflow. They're all going to be coming out of spawn. That cooler does come out, so Penance can anticipate that Freeflow is going to be trying to push in, and they start playing underneath those ledges. Kiki does get 2. The tent is still on the ramp, but with 35 ticks remaining, if Freeflow, no doubt, going to try to get some picks with these Zukas. If Penance manages to live this game might be a knockout.
Yeah, that's a great pick though from Parks though, able to get 1. Are they able to get more here? They need to get moved in. They have to avoid the CRB as well. Here they come on the offense here. Is Kite. There's a lot of paint on the zone. Freeflow absolutely needs this. They want a chance. The crowd comes out. They do get the zones here, so they are safe. They have a large penalty Penance does now to work through. However, are they going to win the ensuing team fight? It doesn't seem like it. It flips immediately back now to Penance. Swish, not iFart Radio. Swish is coming in, able to put out some damage. He's gonna be able to go off the side here. They're in trouble now though. Nicholas sees it. The Zook is not able to find anything. Skep, what a crazy team fight here.
Right?
Yeah.
And enabling team fights. You saw it exactly there. The Nicholas on that Neo Splash rotated in order to be able to assist their teammate with that 10. We can see how differently this comp is playing in Freeflow. Beautiful bomb from Nicholas as they're all the way on their flat. Yeah, and 2 down for Freeflow. So Penance, if they manage to maintain the zone here, it's so close. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. GG's. Parks not able to neutralize the zone, and we are tied up 1-1. What an amazing comp adjustment from Penance, and there's no way they could have stream sniped that from my wonderful analysis.
Oh yeah, well.
You know? Hey,
we are recording. You're right. They could not have. They could not have.
But
it
you're
was
not a
okay.
thinker,
You're right.
Skep.
No. Skep. My turn to talk. Thank you. That was the perfect adjustment. You're right. I will take full credit for that. You can, do your little song and dance. But at the end of the day, Penance was the one who made the adjustment. And I want to give a shout out to Kiki though, because they were down 3v4 and they had still 10 full ticks left. And Kiki on the CRB was able to get 2 picks at least and was able to hold off the zone for Penance there. Really, really solid stuff. And I mean, now it's 1-1, and now Freeflow is probably thinking, well, like now our ballpoint's not able to get any value because of the pencil. The CRB's fully enabled to shut out down our ballpoint as well. The Neo Splash was able to get some really solid plays off on the tent as well. Like they were if not able to get that crazy play, which they did in the future, they'll still be able to throw some bombs out and slow the tent down. They're gonna have tons of paint, tons of strikes, enabling not only the CRB but the Neo Stamper as well, who's gonna have a ton of crabs too as well. It's gonna be tough for Freeflow here, who was manhandled. They were manhandled by Penance there. They're going into Rainmaker Scorch. I'd like to see some comp changes for them to account for the changes from Penance.
Just gonna say, are we gonna play the counter pick game, or are we gonna never back down, never what? And hold Parks does play heavy deco, and I do think that would be a really good adjustment because it does give you that invulnerability from the Kraken, and it allows you to fight that pencil better because
Marks, I
it
need you to
can't.
stay ballpoint.
Hey,
Skip's ego is way too high right now.
all right, buddy, relax, relax.
I do think you have a point, though. Obviously, the ballpoint is going to struggle. The pack is not good against all the CRB and the pencil. We're seeing here some adjustments here. We have the heavy edit deco, which is not the heavy deco with the Kraken. Instead, it's the Crab. It's more of a midline than a backline. We're also seeing the Wiper as well. I love the Wiper pick here. I think it's pretty, it can be fast, aggressive, and you're allowed to sort of disrupt all that painting options if you can get to the back with the Neo Splash, right?
Yeah, it does seem like Freeflow is leaning into a more aggressive comp. I think we see the impact of that as the CRB is forced to jump out, and they manage to get the 3 down. Now, Cakes is going in for the checkpoint, and this is really, really early, 28 seconds into the game, as Freeflow is, frankly, curb stomping their way onto Penance's plat. If they manage to sustain this, they don't. The potential doesn't come out in time. That would be huge for them, but regardless, 42 is a decent push, but it is not one that you would expect to be walking away with the game at this level.
Yeah, no, JJ on the Wiper was able to set this up and get a ton of points here with multiple picks. They're going to run it a little bit more, all the way to 36. That's going to be the end of the push here. It's not comfortable. It's strong, but it's not comfortable. You're going to want to see a little more points if you're on Freeflow. That being said, it's a great lead to start out with, right? You're only a minute into the game. You already built a strong push. It's up to Penance now to match that. We'll see what they're able to do here. Obviously, the more aggressive comp here out from Freeflow has worked so far. Are they being able to play defense? We see the Kraken coming out already to take out that space. JJ's sharking in the corner. He's got to back out. Shots being fired from the Rainmaker. Looks like Cakes there coming in. Another one coming in. JJ, he's going to be able to get the Rainmaker in a trade. That might be able to slow down Penance for a little bit. We'll see how far this goes here.
Right, and like you mentioned, Freeflow is able to maintain their own space, and that's something that the Heavy Edit and the Tens are just going to be so phenomenal at doing, right? Those are, yes, it's a midline, yes, it's a more aggressive midline option coming up from that edit, and yes, Tens can be incredibly aggressive, but also they're excellent space-maintaining tools, and we saw the impact of that there. And now Freeflow is starting to look forward towards Penance's court, that the Rainmaker has been allowed to reset. You got to keep in mind, Penance has yet to put any real points on the board as Freeflow is beginning yet another push.
Yeah, Swish is so effective on the Tent, pretty much solo pushing in because Tent can do that, and JJ's able to follow up with tons of picks as well. This more aggressive comp is clearly working out for them. They're set up for another push. The Neo Splash isn't able to accomplish much. The Pencil doesn't have too much of a sight line here because they got to play so far back. The Heavy Edit's the last one alive here, though. They're able to find the picks there on defense. The jumps do seem to work out for JJ. He's able to find 2 in the corner there. Parks is able to fight off this Neo Splash to survive long enough, get more jumps in. We'll see how much Freeflow is able to do here. JJ does eventually go down. But it was a great sustain there for a bit for Parks, and then of course JJ finding picks to slow down Penance as well.
Right, and finally, Penance is, as I say that, they go 2 down. They have the Rainmaker, they have mid, and then some, frankly, baloney from Freeflow just completely dissolves that push, right? Now, it seems like Love Galore and Kiki are trying to isolate this Tent Swish, but Swish gets the better of both of them, frankly, and is able to just duck, weave, keep going. Absolutely dancing on their plat.
Yes, if you want to be like, oh, it's a skill diff that you can't deal with the Tent, well, I'm going to show you that right there. Swish is absolutely holding their own in a spot they absolutely should not be. A lot of resources going into move Swish, and Swish just calmly backs out. Not a problem at all. Able to get the rest of the team involved in the fight. Bam, bam, bam. Penance goes down. It's not a good look for Penance. They are able to move them eventually, but they just don't have any offense because they're doing so much to get rid of Swish. They had to use a whole crab just to smash that. Swish, get the heck out of here. I fart radio, come on now. What are you, in middle school? They're able to get that, but they need more than just the Tent, right? Because they still have the Wiper to deal with too, who's super aggressive. And then of course there's a crab as well, coming out from the Heavy Edit.
Yeah, they want you to smash that like and subscribe button. You're going to pay your Penance now! Gets 2 picks, and Freeflow might pay for that here. It is a 2v1 situation near that right side checkpoint as you're going to pay your Penance now. Finally starts being able to dip their toes into Freeflow's elbow. Hayden going for the dunk here, but the crab out from Parks does keep them from doing that, and also does get the pick. It is just Love Galore left standing in that elbow, but the sword 1v1 does win it out versus JJ, but JJ gets traded out by Parks. Kiki jumping in, gets camped by the crab. Love Galore also tries to jump in. The crab does not find that pick. Hayden keeping some paint down on the right side of the mid, trying to facilitate Penance's next push as Freeflow starts working their way back towards that center point.
Do or die for Penance here. They got to get the check, and they got to get more, and they only have 10 seconds left. The Neo Stamper's already down. They're able to find the heavy edit. They're cracking it. They might be able to go for JJ here, or they're going to go for it. They got to get the pop, too. They forgot to get the Rainmaker. They only have 2 seconds. They got to grab it. iFart Radio. Sorry, Swish is... I can't help it. Swish is able to get the pick there. It's going to be 2-1 Freeflow. Not enough at the end there from Penance to stop Swish and JJ and the back lines of Freeflow. Man, that was a good game. I'm sorry, iFart Radio. It's so funny. The tent is absolutely destroying them. They gotta have to come up with an answer here coming up on Clan Blitz Inkblot.
I told them that it makes people's brains hurt when they look at a name on the screen and say a different name. Stinky Freeflow. Once again at it with their fart jokes. It was fart FA earlier.
I saw that. Fart.
Fart for fart.
Freddy Fazbear. Fart. But I mean, all jokes aside, Swish is absolutely eating up the competition right now. Penance is gonna have to come up with a solution. They were able to get it initially by enabling their CRB on the Haggle game. Are they gonna be able to do that again? We're gonna have to find out, right? I do like the sweeps they had initially. I'm curious though, because Freeflow completely changed what they were doing in response. Do they go back to what they initially had, a more back comp that lets JJ and Swish overextend? Or do they just stick with their guns, stick with what they won on the Haggle game? Because they had some pretty strong success there. It'll be interesting to see what they do here on Clan Blitz Inkblot.
Yeah, and we saw the fact that Freeflow was able to adapt to the tempo difference from Penance. Right, so can Penance then again adapt to the increased tempo from Freeflow? Right?
Yeah, this has been a fascinating set to watch. A total chess match. Like Skep and I are playing checkers and being like, I think they're gonna play this. They're so far 4D chess way ahead of us. They are
Oh.
Giga Brain,
Have
Yatta
you
Brain, Chad
actually
Brain.
played 4D chess? I'll let you know that I have.
You played 4D chess?
My
Skep,
grandpa had a Star Trek 4D chess set
Skep,
in his house.
we're playing chess. I'm going to kick your buttocks.
You
are going down.
You would probably win.
Thank you. I agree.
Oh wow.
Alright, we're getting into game 4 here. I'm gonna leave the chess behind. These two are clearly on another level beyond Skep and I, our silly little brains can handle. We're able to see, there's the heavy deco you were mentioning earlier from Parks. And we have the pencil and the V bucket from Kiki. I love the V bucket. I think it's a really strong weapon in this comp. Weapon in this meta as well. Like, it's just such a good weapon, and it's great here on Inkblot as well.
Yeah, opting for that double midline against the increased tempo free flow, I do think is something that will help them, particularly on all of this map, which does deceptively have a lot of elevation changes between the various stages, right? And Penance is the first team to lose a member as Freeflow starts snaking their way up this left side. Kiki gets a great trade on JJ as they try and ride the rail up onto Bats. But regardless, all of that utility that Freeflow has burned into an early game push, not able to find any value, but we can see that for the past 45 seconds, Penance has predominantly been on their own plat playing a game defense.
Vanilla heavy, not the heavy deco, so there's no Kraken here. That's the Wave Breaker variant. Honestly, I think the Kraken one would have been better, but I don't know. Clearly, maybe they feel more comfortable in the vanilla heavy. Maybe they just want the
Maybe they know better than you, Typhlo.
Maybe they know. You know what? You're right. They are playing 4D chess and playing checkers at like a baby level. You're correct. And it's working out for them. I mean, they have the advantage here. They're able to push in. They're gonna be able to get this pick. Oh, never mind. Quick, Love Galore just really quickly on the jump back in. Able to shut down JJ's hammer, which would have at least got 2 if it was successful. Huge defense there from Penance, able to shut down what would have been a pretty massive push.
And we can see Parks, oh my gosh, the aggro heavy on that left side. Penance has been not left their plat this whole game. As Parks continues to hold this left side, that's going to be even harder for them. They manage to get the pick on Kiki as they try and swing that left side, but this makes me a little bit nervous because Freeflow is all on the left side of the map. We see someone pass the power clam to Swish, but they're forced it back because of the strikes, and hopefully Freeflow starts moving towards this right side of the map. Yeah, here comes this tent shield on the right side, but there's still someone above them as that Zuka does come out. This has just been such a stall fest, frankly.
But it's been all Pennant stalling, and they've been doing an excellent job. Swish there has been trying to get in with that ball. And you'd think with, as a tent, they'd be able to get in eventually, right? They'd be able to just send the shield and go, but they keep getting bombed. Azuka was thrown into it, just couldn't get anything going there. JJ's going to come out on the side here, maybe get a flank to get something going here because, they weren't able to push in directly. If you can't use the front door, try the back door, right? They have 7 here. They might be able to score if they get this last clam. They're going to get it. We're really going to get a jump in. They have a second ball. Here it comes. Parks out with the ball. Goes down. The strikes came out at the perfect time. Swish on the side here. Not able to do much. And the counterplay is coming in from Penance.
Yeah, and frankly, a Swish does have to get a very good flank here in order to prevent this push from getting worse. Cut off the flow of clams if you would. And 3 down on the side of Penance as Freeflow is successful in defending their own plat, but Love Galore still on their slicks. Gets 1, gets 2, and is able to maintain clams on that side of the map. Freeflow lost a lot of momentum by not clearing that Stamper on that right side, even though they currently have the lead, and JJ and Cakes are up on that bats. Can they keep this going? The power clam is being jumped in. They get it down to 50. That's a good push, given how this game has been going so far, how excellent Penance's defense has been. But Penance can absolutely turn this around if they manage to clear their own plat here.
Yeah, that's the power of fast right there. You go fast, go forward. They didn't know where Love Galore was, and Love Galore eventually was able to get 2. You thought initially that's going to slow them down, right? Like, they're down, they're screwed. Instead, JJ, who just completely ignored it, was, I'm going to rush their I'm going to rush their bats, actually. We're going to get some jumps in. Doesn't matter if my teammates go down because they can just jump back to me. Able to get a huge push off of it and able to get some kills as well. All the way down to 14. That's huge for Freeflow. Penance has a minute to score a ton of clams. We're going to be able to see if they're going to be able to pull out something of a miracle here. Already 2 down. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, but they do have those 2 specials. Unfortunately, they do lose that cooler. Nicholas pops the Zuka, and frankly, a very unfavorable position. Does get rushed down. So that's, again, this has been a 2-down stagger for Penance for the past 30 seconds or so. Love Galore pops this Zipcaster, but no one's going to be able to follow up on this given the stagger. So Freeflow going to be able to maintain control of both of these stacks here as Kiki finally does manage to step their toes on that left stack. There's a lot of specials being used when players are already down. Thankfully, Penance has managed to keep 4 up for the past moment, but not for long. Parks comes in, gets Kiki, and that's a delayed wipe on Penance. Cakes holding underneath that basket. We see Swish does have that tent shield up. Parks does go down. 4 seconds remaining. This is it. This is it. This is it. Penance unable to push because they don't have a power clam. That's GG's for Freeflow.
GG's to Freeflow indeed. I was a little concerned seeing them push so far forward. Were they going to score and potentially give them a pity clam? Were they going to absolutely just knock it out with multiple clams? They went 3 down there. I was like, oh no, you pushed way too far. Parks was in the wrong spot. JJ was in the wrong spot. Didn't matter. They didn't get a clam in time. They didn't get a power clam. Freeflow with the win off the aggression there, stalling out. They weren't able to pick up any clams. I mean, hey, that's the name of the game, right? Clam blitz. And they got blitzed, didn't they? Penance did. Freeflow 3-1. Great set. Really fun to watch.
Yeah, and they are going to be walking away with 3rd place for Neon Whale by SAC, number 11, lucky 11. We will be taking a short break before we move on to grand finals between 37 beautiful trans girls and Potato versus the winners of our current set, Freeflow. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Neon Whale by SAC. My name is Skepidillions, and I am here with my number 1 op, Typhlo.
Number
Typhlo,
one.
how are you?
In name, in spirit, in heart, I pray on your downfall.
Oh,
Morning,
you're...
afternoon, and night.
Well, you might be succeeding.
Yeah, love to hear that.
Here we are with Freeflow versus 37 T-Girls and Potato. Freeflow clawing their way up from the losers bracket to start here on Rainmaker Humpback Pump Track. You know them, you love them. Both of these teams very well known in our mid-level scene, and very much enjoyed.
And they definitely know each other too, because they did just play a winners final set that was kind of streamed, not really. We're back here on a VOD in some respects. This is live for us, obviously not live for you. We're getting into this game right away. We have Park Swish Cakes and JJ versus the team. It's just Catnip. We're gonna call him Catnip. Can I call him Catnip, or is it 37 beautiful T-girls?
No.
And that's
They-
not like I love trans people. Don't get me wrong. I love the trans community.
Wait, no one was assuming that. You can just
Okay,
call
good,
them,
good.
You can just
'Cause I-
call them octopi, dude.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. My bad. 37 beautiful T-girls and Potato, aka Catnip. They have large control of mid here. There's somewhat, we got Swish moving in here, Parks moving in, trying to steal that away from them. The strikes do come out. Twigs on the side here. Just looking for picks, not able to find it. Now they do able to get the wiper on, that would be 5th gen on Catnip's down. And there's another pick from Parks onto Twig. This is going to be Freeflow's advantage here starting early.
Yeah, and Parks gets another pick on Luna, starting to work their way forward with this Kraken, playing it so phenomenally aggressively, does get the pick on 5th gen, and now you have your heavy on a flank? Oh, no, you do not, Parks. You do not go for that cut. Well,
Parks,
JJ
dude, go
does.
Parks. Parks is single-handedly pushing this. Very free flows all the way to 4 off of Parks' Kraken and ensuing fight. Parks, you are absolutely mad.
Bro is
Is he
still
able to get
up
more?
here.
They're 2 down. They're trying to move him. They're doing everything they can. Twig is moving them. Luna's moving him. Parks is still there. They can't
Oh,
move
no.
Parks. They know he's there. What are they going to do? All the shooters there, Luna and Twig, are stuck at the bottom. They're struggling to get back up. Parks is holding it down. The rest of Freeflow able to move in. There goes Swish. There goes JJ. They're going to pick it up. Are they able to pull it off? No, they get it just to 1. But there's still an offense going. JJ on the side finds a pick. Parks is able to get a Kraken out. Cakes goes down. Here comes Park with the Kraken. Gotta look to pop it and not fall down. Very important. Parks on the Rainmaker, able to dunk it. Parks, you absolute fiends. Freeflow takes game 1 off of the strong work from Parks and JJ and the Swish and the rest of the team. Stunning stuff here after going down 3-0 in winners finals.
You're
Skep,
joking.
what did we just see?
Yeah. A Twitter clip? Like, hello? No, phenomenal play out there from Freeflow. Like, frankly, particularly Parks. I know we were gassing him up, but like, holy smokes, there up on that top left side, just absolutely refused to back down. Bro is the definition of never back down, never what. The Kraken to get them in there.
Parks went in with that Kraken, went super deep. I'm like, oh, he's going to die. That Kraken's going to run out. Nope. Able to find the pick on 5th gen. Able to hold the left side, which is a very important pick because 5th gen was waiting for that Kraken to end too. And it's just, double dipping. It's like me at the ice cream booth, right? Like, it's getting really ridiculous. Able to find pick after pick. It was getting pretty nasty pretty quick. Shoutouts to Parks. Obviously, the rest of the free flow did excellent as well. But, spec was on Parks. And, God, that was some solid heavy deco gameplay. My goodness.
One might even call it a grand slam. Am I right, Chief?
Oh, now you're speaking my language, Skep. Now we're talking. All right, so we're gonna go into game 2 here. Obviously, 37 just beautiful T-girls, and also Potato. They're looking for something here on Splatoon's Ramen where we're like, hey, let's not let that happen again. Skep, do you think they should make a comp change, or do you think they should just adjust in terms of how they handle it? What would you do here if you're Catnip?
It's so hard to say because like they do thrive in neutral, right? And like there just was no neutral that game. It was just defense. So
Well, they set up for a more aggressive push here. They bring out the CRB, and instead of the zap, they go to the Octo Shot. Wasn't the zap? I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But they are on the Octo Shot now. So they're gonna have a lot of shooters here, just kind of the same as before. But instead, it's more aggressive shooters, less supporting shooters. We'll see what they're able to do here after this.
Yeah, and Luna going to be able to neutralize and potentially cap this zone, but they do know that Swish is down with that tent on that bottom left side. This is not a fight that you take alone, and Cakes is on their way to back up their teammate. Twig and Luna taking the 2v1, getting the pick. Regardless, Swish is still behind them. Twig knows where they are. It takes advantage of the starting from the Zuka in order to be able to get that pick. 37 beautiful T-girls in control of the zone. Twig dropping on Cakes on that bottom right side. If they get trade this out, that's huge for them.
That is big indeed. I wanted to just mention that this comp seems very anti-Swish with the CRB and just a lot of bomb spam from the shooters. It seems to be working so far for Catnip. They are holding it off. The strikes come out. They're able to hold off even more. Two go down on the side of Freeflow. Swish again in an awkward spot at the bottom. Looks like Cakes try to drop down and help out. The Zuka there come out, got nothing as well. Struggling here on the side of Freeflow. They only have 15 seconds left to make something happen here.
Yeah, right, and then Zuka does help and assist in neutralizing that zone. We see Swish gets their shield out, but they don't want to let the zone flip back into 37's favor. Swish trying to push into that elbow, but is going to be have to back due to Twig's shot. Twig on that bottom right side now. Freeflow has cleared their penalty, but they do have quite the uphill climb as this first Zuka comes out, especially if it doesn't find any value, and it doesn't look like it does. 37 does come back in and retakes that zone, frankly, without much of a fight.
Yeah, as a lover of the Octo shot, seeing Luna on it, just putting out strike after strike on this map, it's doing wonders for Catnip here. They're able to stall the zone. They're able to win the zone back. Now every time Freeflow pushes in, they got to deal with a little penalty as well. Two go down here on Freeflow just to go for Luna there. Not a good trade if you're Freeflow. 5th gen here, looking for an extra pick here to solidify the zone in 37 beautiful T-girls' favor. They are able to get the zones. 5th gen jumps back out to the pencil there. The Zuka comes out, not able to find anything yet. Never mind, there's a double off of the Zuka. Last second, what a beautiful shot from Swish. Freeflow's gonna be able to take the zone and continue to push on this comeback here.
Clear their penalty again. That Zuka's out from bottom right, but it doesn't find any. Twig and Luna trying to work their way into the zone. Cake's going to be able to maintain this neutral for now, but Swish is nowhere near Cakes, right? They need to get this pick on Potato. They need to get this pick on the egg. Potato ducking and weaving, showing what an absolutely skilled charger that they are. As Swish continues to stall on this side of the map. Beautiful, phenomenal stall from Swish there, and Freeflow is getting dangerously close to 37's lead. These strikes come out. They do cap that zone. Freeflow caps it right on back as they start looking to keep 37 locked in their elbow. And they're doing such a phenomenal job. This is like a different team.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Every time 5th gen's not checking Swish, it's a win for Freeflow, and JJ's able to come through as well with a great squeezer play. It's going to be tough for Catnip. They did find the 2 picks there, one on Swish. Guys, good job by 5th gen and the rest of the team there to shut down that tent. That tent can be a problem here. That CRB needs to cut it off, and they're able to do so here. They're going to be able to stabilize and hold the lead. Different team entirely, though. We'll see if Freeflow's able to push back in here.
Right, and 37 does have quite a penalty to work through. Twig does get the drop on Parks there. Not a player that you want to be losing, given that that crab is such a powerful tool to retake. Swish pushes their way into the zone. Freeflow does force a cap thanks to that wonderful tent shield. They need to get this pick on Twig. They do. The Zuka is locked and loaded for 37 as they start working their way out of spawn. Here we go. That's if they get these picks with this Zuka, that is huge for them. They managed to lose Parks, but they trade out for 5th gen. Potato is up on the top left area, and we see that JJ does get caught by the strikes as they try and back. 2 members down for Freeflow as we're here in the final moments of the game. Freeflow has one more chance to cap that zone and lock it down.
Yeah, that was super close. Luna's strikes enabled Twig to get back in. Twig gets another pick with the Zuka. That's huge for 37. They're able to take another one out as well. This could be tough for Freeflow. They're able to find 2 off of the specials. Are they able to get back in time and shut down and get the lead? And who knows, maybe even take the second game, right? We'll see what happens. JJ coming in. JJ's got to jump. He's going to camp. No, Potato shuts it down. That's 2 down on the side of Freeflow. They got to paint the zone. They have 3 seconds. It's not going to be enough, most likely. There it is. There's the cap. More strikes come out just to seal it. Catnip, or 37 beautiful T-girls, however you want to call them,
And
ties it up
Potato.
1-1. And Potato, I'm so sorry, Potato. Potato, if you watch this, I'm so sorry. You were clutch there. Way to go. Way to shut down
Yeah.
JJ and take that game 1-1. Man, this has been good so far.
Yeah, if that last game was frankly phenomenal. The 1v1 between Potato and Swish and the elbow that lasted way longer than it should have for either of them. That made me smile,
Yeah,
frankly.
shouts to Potato for simply sticking around long enough. Again, I'm sure Swish is kicking himself right now. Like, I should have had 2, 3, 4. And you know what? Like, they're entirely right. I was calling out, like, hey, 5th gen's not there. Swish is able to get in so far, so deep, and just do so much damage. Mitigating that damage is such a big deal for 37. And Potato was able to do it there. And then Luna continued to pump out strike after strike. That enables Twig, that enables 5th gen to go in and do their business, right? That's a big deal. Tied up the set. We'll see how Freeflow adjusts.
And moving forward towards the rest of our maps, it will be game 3 will be Clan Blitz Crableg.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, Clan Blitz Crableg. Um, this is a map mode that Freeflow actually lost to Magnolia earlier in the night.
Ooh. Now Magnolia was playing pretty well this evening. So shout outs to them. Thanks for coming out. Freeflow. I gotta say, I'm not too big fan of their comp. Obviously, the tent can push in pretty strong here, but that pencil's gonna be tough to move, right? And ideally, you get Park set up in a certain spot, whether he's playing probably the heavy, maybe the vanilla heavy here. I know is actually pretty good. The wave breaker's not bad, and the sprinklers are nice, but still, that pencil's gonna be
Reddit.
able to deal with it. If we see Potatoes, like I really want to deal with it, swaps to the E leader, and Parks goes
Oh,
ballpoint here. So, what do you make of that, Scott?
this is not the comp changes I was expecting. I was expecting Potato to stick pencil because it's very good on the flat open areas of this map that do make up the most of it, right? And then also for Parks to switch to the Reddit with the crab. So this is quite a surprise to me, and I'm very curious how this plays out and why these players could possibly make these adjustments. Especially given that we're bringing up the ballpoint in a situation where we know 5th Gem has been on that custom range blaster.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. In my mind, I imagine it's because they really want to deal with Parks and make sure it's a clear counter to that. E-leaders is the extreme, like, yeah, you're not going to get set up. We're going to get set up, right? It immediately backfired, though, because JJ was able to get the pick so early. They're able to finally push in now. Thankfully, no points were scored for Freeflow, so here comes the E-leader setting up, right? That offense that they lost, the initial fight they lost, they're finally able to get offense. 5th gen going in on the Kraken, gets one. They all have to back out and become sitting ducks here for Potato. Potato's not able to find the pick there. They are able to open it, which is a good start for them. Are they able to find any more? Well, you're going to find out here. Here comes Potato. Gets one, and another one goes in as well. Twig on the side here. They're looking to get back in there, but they just don't have the map control to push back in there.
Good cleanup from Freeflow on a map that does tend to snowball. Right, they do lose Swish as they try and re-entry in the mid though, and then they lose Parks. So this is going to be 37 maintaining control of mid, which is where the clan spawns, which is where you want to be able to push back in from, right? Luna does back in order to be able to form as that cooler does come out. Twig on the side gets 2 with Bazooka, nearly gets Cake, but does facilitate a trade between Cakes and Luna, and is going to be able to swim in and potentially sustain this here. It does look like they opt to take those fights though, rather than score clams. They do lose the basket because of that.
Yeah, that's tough for 37. They had such an advantage there. On their initial push, they were able to set up Potato in such a spot where it's like, how do we even deal with the E-leader? Like, what do we do? And that just puts them all bunched up on their plat, trying to stay behind walls. That's not where you want to be. And sure enough, you're able to let 5th gen and Twig push in and just do all sorts of damage, right? And once again, like, they're able to push back a little bit, the tent is, and the rest of Freeflow. But here we go again. That's a big pick right there. That's 2 picks. One of them on the E-leader. The rest of Freeflow needs to move in here. Are they able to find the space to take advantage and potentially take the lead here with all these clams they have?
We see Swish working their way towards this top left. The tent is so good at holding this area on this map. We do see that Freeflow does have enough clams, not only to score, but also to pull lead, but they lose JJ on that squeezer. They potentially could lose Parks here as well. There's still one more shot out from that Zuka. Parks on this bottom right side, not able to cleanly rotate between portions of the map and force the jump out. Then Cakes goes down. So all members of Freeflow are currently on their way out of spawn as 37 begins their next push.
Yeah, they're terrified of Potato here. You can see it. They don't want to get picked, and I don't blame them. Ooh, almost able to get a pick on the ball point who was in the pack. Like, even as far back as you are, like, you're still terrified, right? The 10 here is going to move, trying to get some Zuka shots to open it up again like they did last time, and maybe get some more. Doesn't happen. Potato shuts it down. This is great positioning for 37. They're in a great opportunity here to hold off and continue to keep their advantage here.
We see the Zuka coming out from JJ. It does get the pick on Potato, but it is there goes the CRB. There goes 5th gen. Now is Freeflow's opportunity to start pushing. There's a minute left in this game, and frankly, 37 beautiful T-Girls of Potato's lead is not that strong. The cooler comes out from Luna. That's some excellent damage control, given that we can anticipate Freeflow is trying to push. JJ up on that top left side gets 1, gets 2, gets 3. If they need to clear 5th gen, they do. Cakes is able to get that dunk, and here comes the damage, right? Cakes backing for some clams. Unfortunately, those do despawn. Parks jumping in a power. If they get this dunk, get it below 30, within less than a minute left to go in the game, Catnip needs to clean this up. They need to stop the bleeding now.
They do, and unfortunately, it's too little too late there. All the way down to 12. What a strong push from Freeflow. Catnip's on the back foot. This E-leader is in a great spot, but it can't really push up so much. If Freeflow's able to hunker down and play some defense, they'll have the win here. Unfortunately, the Zuka's out, the Kraken's out. Potato's able to get a pick as well. That's 2 down on the side of Freeflow. Park's in an awkward spot. Here comes some jumps. Here comes the offense. They're able to get on their flat. Oh, what a big Zuka on the defense. Trades it out. The ball point goes down. Still an offense for 37. They have some clams. They jump in. There's 1. They're able to get a second. And here comes the jump. This will be lead. It goes in. That's the lead. They're going to die here, unfortunately. So now all that Catnip needs to do is stop the defense, or play defense, which is going to, they need 2 big clams to stop the penalty. They have an E-leader, which is such a great defensive weapon. They have a CRD, which is going to shark out anything and just hold positions. They have a shot, which can build a Zuka. There goes 1, there goes 2. It's going to be tough here. They do have 2, not enough time. Game 2 goes to Catnip off of an incredible last-second push to take the lead.
What a
That was
comeback.
awesome.
Where did that come from? It came from the wind, right? That absolutely phenomenal triple power clam score. Granted, they were staggered, in order to be able to pull lead there. Absolutely out of nowhere.
That was incredible. So, I mean, so it's one thing to get a couple picks, right? And they did. They got a pick. Twig got a pick off of the Zuka. Potato got a pick off of being an E-leader. They were able to push in. I think 5th gen got the 3rd, and all of a sudden it's a 4v1. To keep the clams up that you need in that scenario too. So shoutouts to Luna, who I assume was collecting clams. Shoutouts to the team for keeping high clam economy. Because I know, like, I'm goated with the sauce. I get all kinds of picks. I never have the clams, right? I end up losing. It's so Catnip, their clutch up. I keep saying Catnip. 37 beautiful, beautiful T-girls who know how to play Splatoon, and also Potato, who does also know how to play Splatoon, able to find the clams at the exact moment where they get the picks and able to take the lead last second. Incredible stuff there.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff.
That was beautiful.
And
all 37 of them.
How exasperating for... Sorry.
Yeah.
How exasperating.
You like that one? That was terrible.
Dude, I'm tired. I've been out this for too long. Okay.
Skep's been doing this for 3.5 hours now.
Yeah.
So it's been tough. That's why Freeflow, we need you to clutch up. We need a bracket reset.
Oh,
bring Skep to their limits.
Our lovely other commentator for tonight, their internet crashed. So, never back down, never what, and Dillians decided, I got it, and...
Yeah, sure.
I do got it. Hello?
Yeah, no, you do. Okay, let's talk about TC Manta, because I think this is a great opportunity for Freeflow to even the score here. Potato is obviously like a sniper extraordinaire, right? But this is not a good pencil map whatsoever. We often see teams switch to heavy at it. E-leader's not the best here either. I'm very curious to see what Potato plays here. On the other hand, this is great for Splatlings, and Parks has been absolutely killing it. We do see a Dapple Dually. We see the Vanilla Heavy on the side for Parks. A Machine and Junior. So the Dapple Dualies is obviously like a huh? What the heck are we doing here? But that's low-key, like, not the worst pick in the world. Obviously, it's a little weird to be the cooler weapon on your team. You want your Dapples to be more... yeah, it's very aggressive. Yeah, it's true. This was... did this win Area Cup or something?
something like that. A couple of my friends were talking about it earlier in the week.
Yeah. I do
Unfortunately,
believe it was blue dapples
did
though,
not
is it not?
absorb it.
Am I going crazy?
I do know it's the cooler.
Okay, well, we'll see how it works here. The blue dapples with the junior, the shot, and the machine. That's Potato on the machine, so it's, again, no sniper here on Manta. So far, it's been pretty even. Lots of picks back and forth. We finally see the Hammer's able to clear him out, force him back, and they'll take some space off of it. Freeflow will. The wiper goes down, that would be JJ. The shots go out from the Zuka. Potato falls off the map, still long, sayonara. Ian respawn. That's tough for 37, but they are able to find the picks elsewhere. So Potato, your mistake was saved. You can thank the rest of your team for that later on the VOD review.
Died, went to heaven, met up with 37 beautiful tgirls as they're at that first checkpoint. They have that bubble ready to go for that second checkpoint, and we saw this earlier with Freeflow with their set against Magnolia. This is where things start to snowball, right? Luna on this tower is trying to clear that check, but is going to find herself pinned between multiple areas from Freeflow. Only the shot left standing on the side of 37 as Freeflow does manage to recoup that tower, but they need to be swift in clearing these beacons, Typhoon.
Yeah, these beacons are going to become a bit of an issue for them because this map is such a long to get, it's a long swim to get back in the mid. So if you don't have someone as a backline player, which they don't have currently, they have their furthest back would be the machine, or the most range at least, right? They don't really have a true backline, so these beacons are a big deal for the side of 37. Able to get them in. That means with the cooler, they're able to push back in and get some advantage here. 5th gen finds some picks with Potato. This is going to be pretty bad for Freeflow if they get the snowball going here on this map. We do know how bad they got snowballed before. This could be the game, the set, the tournament.
And this third checkpoint does go down. We see that Swish is above that tower, but does not stop and tap it. In fact, 37 is just able to keep standing on the tower and does manage to clear it. Oh my gosh, what an oversight, frankly, from Freeflow that allowed 37 to just come right on through and keep going.
Yeah, I guess that's why Red Dapples win an area cup, right? Beacons to get back in, coolers to get the team respawning quick. That was impressive, and that was a Manta snowball. Shoutouts to Manta TC for being one of my personal least favorite map modes.
I love Manta TC.
Well, and you wonder why I'm your op. Let's just say that.
When you win, Manta
Okay,
TC.
well, before the politics, shout out to 37 beautiful T-Girls and Potato. Congratulations on the tournament. Only dropping one game the entire tournament, I believe.
Incredible.
Yeah, really, really great stuff. Congratulations to the team. Potato, 5th gen, Luna, Twig, and Vanessa will throw you in there too. Congratulations to all of you. And Freeflow, hey, that was much, I assume it was much better than the first set. Like, it was pretty, aside from that 4th game, it was pretty competitive, and we had some pretty close games that could go back and forth. So GG's to both teams, GG's to everybody. What a fun tournament this was.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, for a minute there, I was nervous that we were heading towards that bracket reset. I was like,
That would have been so much fun.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're up all night.
Yeah, we've done it before.
Night. Jackson? Yeah.
Are you gonna serenade the audience?
Oh, I wish. I'm no Michael Jackson.
Well, thank you so much to all the teams that did turn out tonight. I would add this is a record for Neon Whale. So we did reach a new peak. Neon Peak, if you would.
Neon Peak.
Neon Peak. I really appreciate it, and all of our lovely stuff members do too. And I'm sure when this VOD is up, it will be really hype. And GG's, and y'all have a wonderful night or day or morning or like endless like cloak of eternity, whatever suits your boat. Whatever suits your boat.
Nice one, Scat. That was good.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Stay French.